Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jimmy. That was a on-point enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yay. That's the kind of enthusiasm we're looking for here.
Look, I'm just jacked
I love
to not
it.
be dead.
That's what I mean. We're jacked to be here. We're excited. Thank you guys for joining us once again. Hope you enjoyed last week's craziness, as I'm sure we all did. Everybody, we've had quite the run lately of craziness. Steve Francis didn't know anything about him before that, really, other than he was a decent ball player, basically. But this week we have quite the tale for you. This week, man, it's a cautionary tale. Let's just say that. Okay. It's like an after-school special that we're going to spice up with some humor here. Symposium. Yeah,
you know the word.
They're going to put this story up on the blackboard and say, don't do any of this shit. This is, we'll get to all that though. First of all, thank you guys so much for your reviews this week. Wow. They mean a ton. We don't know why. We can't understand why, but Apple Podcast, that purple icon, the reviews mean a lot, and it weighs heavily on their charts. It helps you go up the charts. So if you haven't done it yet, I know you have time right now. So go ahead, get on there. It takes 30 seconds. You have to sign in and everything, but it's quick. And give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Say you're following instructions, following directions. It doesn't matter, but it helps us out on the business end. Speaking of that, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
It's a lovely place.
Oh, it is. For all of your crime and sports and your small town murder needs as well. And if you're not listening to Small Town Murder, I don't know what you're doing. If you like this show and you're not listening to that show, you're just missing out on something that you would really enjoy. So I advise, look at us as friends. We've been around this is 202 episodes here. We're your friends now. We're advising you. Listen to Small Town Murder. Trust us. Check that out and go over there. There's tickets to live shows that we assume you can buy for more toward the end of the year.
Doesn't that part feel shitty?
We're looking at July and August kind of being hopefully the comeback dates. So, I mean, everything past there. I don't know. Get your tickets now.
You got them written on a blackboard. And there's some asshole with a wet cloth ready to just go wipe them out. And
there's a Crime and Sports show October 2nd in Phoenix, a live show that we just haven't been able to put on sale yet because we booked it right before this and it hasn't got on sale because everybody's out of their offices. So we're waiting, guys. Trust me, we're trying our best here. So thank you for everything like that you've done for us. And if you want to be a bigger hero of ours, a producer, honestly, people were going to gush about at the end of the show. We can't thank everybody enough, and to show you how thankful we are this week. Well, first of all, if you want to be a producer, just head over to patreon.com/crimeinsports, or you go to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. If you want to make a one-time donation, we thank you for everything, especially in these crazy times. Thank you for you guys helping us out a lot. But we have a bonus Crime and Sports this week for all the Patreon people above $5, 5 and above. And if you do that too, you have access to all the bonus stuff for Small Town Murder too. We do like the personal ads show. We do prisoner dating game bonuses. We'll do smaller episodes. It's basically a shorter Crime and Sports with a kind of someone whose stuff isn't long enough for a whole episode, but it's got a couple of real good punches in it that we need to check out. So that's kind of how we'll do our bonuses. This week it's Dave Stewart, the famous Oakland pitcher.
And did he play for the Blue Jays too?
Blue Jays.
All right,
World
look
Series,
at me.
World Series.
Oh, I know a man's
it's
career.
It's just a blue uniform. World Series champion, wherever the hell he went, though, and had to do a couple of very, very interesting arrests that we'll talk about on there. So that's going to come out Tuesday night, Wednesday. That'll come out to listen to there. So check all that out. Also, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie every Friday with myself and my wife, Sarah Hunt, where we just rip apart bad movies and romantic comedies for the most part, and we have a ball with that. So if you want to hear, that's the most vitriol you're going to hear out of me, is when I've been forced to watch shit for 2 hours. I'm yelling and screaming a lot. So check that out. But never mind all that shit, Jimmy. Yeah. We got a crazy story we need to get to here.
Okay.
Let's do this. Let's start it out right at the top. I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, Alan Wiggins.
No.
You know who he is? Baseball player.
Oh.
I figured baseball would be a good one for this week since this is opening week of baseball. So in my schedule, I have
this is happening.
So this is happening. It's not happening, obviously. So congrats, opening week of baseball. Here we go. Alan Anthony Wiggins.
Yeah.
I would say cautionary tale would be the biggest understatement of the century for old Alan Wiggins here. Man, talk about fucking it up. It's just one of those stories where you're like, oh, you dumb son of a bitch. It's sad, more sad than anything. And I will say this, by the way, because the John Cordick episode, we had a few people that were like, oh, that was sad, and they were bitching about it. So, you know what you got next week? A child molester. So I don't want to hear any bitching about anything being sad, or I will find the kid diddlingest motherfucker in the world for next week for you to enjoy. So have that. That's retribution for acting sad. So here we go. Alan Anthony Wiggins. Alan Wiggins. Yeah. He is born February 17th, 1958. He's an LA guy. Yeah. He's from LA. His family's from LA. Apparently moved to Pasadena at a young age, and that's where he grew up. Was in Pasadena, like right across from the Rose Bowl is where he grew up. So he was very much sports were right away into, and also when he was born 58, he grew up in the 60s. Sure. He plays sandlot ball through his whole childhood. Like the sandlot is him. Okay. He's Benny the Jet, kind of. You can look at it that way. Right. If Benny the Jet's life turned out terribly,
we don't know.
Just went real. That's true. They only showed him stealing home.
That's it.
What happens afterwards? He could have got arrested on the way home that night with a pocket full of cocaine.
Gives a thumbs up to Smalls in the booth, and then they
go prostitutes, and he's
fuck hookers and drive drunk.
That's what I mean. Who knows? That's what happened. So, Jesus Christ. Now, his daughter says that for him, he always said that and he told everybody, and his mother said too, race was a big issue in Pasadena back then. Yeah. Pasadena's kind of a white area. Even now, it's pretty it's pretty mild there.
People have rose bushes.
It's the LA equivalent of ranch dressing.
There you go.
That's what it is. Yeah. This is the ranch section of Los Angeles. Yeah. So he said that they said that there's Altadena and Pasadena at the time, and Altadena was north of Pasadena. Yeah. And Pasadena was all white and Altadena was all black.
Oh.
So it was like, if any blacks black people would creep over the line, and the white people would freak the fuck out back then. In the 60s, I mean, we're talking, this is Watts riots time and all that kind of shit. LA was really, it was like the 60s and the 90s for LA were really, a lot of racial shit being set off.
The black guys called it Pastydena.
Yeah, Pastydena. Yeah. Go over there to Pastydena. Probably, actually. If there's anybody from Altadena in the 60s, please tell us if you called it Pastydena. So they tried to get they were trying to integrate all of this. The government actually was, by putting kids in school together, that lived near each other, and they were trying to get rid of segregation, but it was still lingering a lot. People don't think of that shit in California. Yeah. California was segregated as balls back then. It really was. Yeah. I mean, it might not have been official in a lot of it, but if you were black, they wouldn't sell you a house in a certain neighborhood.
Government mandated.
Yeah, it wasn't
people were doing it on their own.
It wasn't like the South where they put a fucking sign up saying how racist they were.
Telling you to get the fuck out.
Or in their own front yard saying how much they hated whoever or whatever. It wasn't like that, but it was still there. Like in Little League, he was on a segregated Little League.
Wild.
I mean, that's crazy. Think about that.
That's no fun.
The kids they're kids. They don't give a shit. They'll play baseball with whoever wants to play baseball with them. That's insane. That's like, you're really teaching some shit there. Like, I know you'd like to play baseball with those kids, but you can't because they're different.
Because they're better than you.
You can't because they'll beat you.
Do you want to make the team or not, Timmy?
It's the white kid, the white dad telling us, look, listen, trust me. You want to be an all-star or do you want to be a bench warmer? Because this is how it's going to work. So, that's how it worked. So they were segregated Little League teams. That's crazy. Now, Alan, in 7th grade, he meets his future wife.
In 7th grade?
7th grade. His future wife, Angie. Yeah. And this is, they were middle school sweethearts.
Oh, boy.
So, I mean, this is, wow, and they stay together, too. I mean,
really?
This lasted the course somehow through all of his bullshit, she sticks with him, and it's wild. So they went to John Muir High School, which is where Jackie Robinson went to high school.
No kidding.
So that was a huge inspiration for him. He loved him some Jackie Robinson, and he wanted to be a baseball player. He wanted to be a second baseman like Jackie Robinson. He wanted to be, he was a huge fan, obviously, and he was fast, too. He was a speedster, as we'll find out Wiggins is. He's insanely fast. So Maury Wills was a big hero of his, who was a big base stealer in the 60s. And, he said that he actually stole a baseball card signed by Jackie Robinson from a kid one time.
Oh, my God.
Just because he wanted it so bad. He wanted Jackie Robinson's autograph, and this kid
taped it to his bicycle spokes like an idiot.
Yeah, probably taped, and he was like, I got his autograph. Listen to it. Doesn't it sound good? Pop, 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 pop.
It's heavier because it's got more ink.
Yeah, well, he said he told his mom that the other kid was a white kid, and the kid had money too. So he said the kid probably had enough. So he thought it was okay to take his jacket.
He's got multiples.
He literally said he thought that he would appreciate it more than this kid too, since it was Jackie Robinson. Which, hey, you know what? It worked for him. It was a source of inspiration for him. I don't know that the other kid went on to play shit. So there you go. We're not talking about that kid. We don't even know his name.
Yeah.
Turns out it was John Elway. No,
right.
No. That would have been hilarious, by the way.
Stole a baseball card from Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky. He went up to Canada and took it right out of his snow-covered hand. Yeah. So, but baseball was, in the 60s too, baseball was still king. Football hadn't taken over yet as the number one sport. It was getting there, but television was still bringing football to the forefront, and baseball was still the big deal, and Jackie Robinson was from there, so where he was, baseball was the thing to do, and it was popular among the white kids, and that's where he was in Pasadena. So he had a few friends growing up with him that he played with a certain group of kids here from Little League all the way into high school and senior leagues and all that type of shit. Kind of had his regular guys, a guy named Warren Hollier, who was a pitcher, 6'6", too, big old,
holy shit,
big strapping dude here. He ended up getting a scholarship to Oral Roberts, and another guy named Lyle Breckenridge who went to Cal, and there's a guy named Wayne Stone who also went to Oral Roberts. So that's kind of these four guys all hang out through the years and play ball together and all that sort of thing. By the way, I have to say a lot of some good background information from the LA Times here from 25 years ago, 30 years ago, but still good stuff. LA Times.
Onto the archives of it.
That's right. So and I get to find them. So here we go. They all wanted to be professional baseball players. They played at a place called Brookside Park, which was right across from the Rose Bowl.
Hell yeah.
They play in the shadow of the Rose Bowl, literally.
So
yeah, it's pretty cool. But it was just a sandlot. So that was their diamond, basically.
Doesn't exist today.
No, I'm sure that's high dollar real estate, I'm sure, or something.
If it's a parking lot, you don't get to play in there.
No. It's these people are parking there for the Rose Bowl at $30 a head.
Right.
The kids, get out of here. That's there's like $4,000 worth of you in this parking lot right now. We got to get rid of you. Sorry, go.
And if the Rose Bowl's not happening, there's an event down there that is.
Something popping off.
We need to park cars here.
Either way, keep your little asses out of the goddamn sandlot. So they said they would rake up the infield to get all the shit out of it, broken bottles and all that shit. So just in case they had to fall for something, they would build a pitching mound, push all the dirt together to do a pitching mound and all that. But so that's what they did. There was all it was overgrown with weeds and shit. Like there was burrs and stuff all stuck in their clothes while they were doing it.
Fucking yard work to play.
Yeah, you had to. Well, it's like back home in New York. If you wanted to play basketball in the winter, you better bring your fucking shovel. You better get shoveling, chief. So by the time you start playing, you're already exhausted because you just shoveled a giant piece of blacktop. This is great, but that's what you do. His friend said here, Hollier, he said, quote, "We'd sit around and talk about pro ball, what was going to happen, how'd we do. Alan and I were best friends. Neither of us had a dad or much money. We figured sports was our way out." That's a lot of the kids around there felt the same way. And to this day, kids see sports as a way out. If you come from a shit area, and especially too, if you're not, academically spectacular, it's not like it was back then where you could be like a B+ student and go to USC back then. Now you have to be have a 4.8 grade point average
extra
to get.
Yeah.
And
every kid's doing it.
It's crazy because you're competing with people from around the world, whereas back then nobody from China went to USC in the 60s. They just didn't. So now fucking half of the country goes to USC or UCLA or
It's probably
competing with the world.
Vacation for kids from China going to USC and being able to only work 13, 14 hours a day.
It's good without their parents yelling at them too. It's much better. So this back then though it was a different environment. Now they said out of the group, Alan was he was the poorest of the group. Alan was really poor. He grew
Standout poor.
He grew up tough times. His friend said, quote, Alan probably had less than any of us, but he wasn't going to let that stop him. I remember once when he didn't have any shoes to wear, he wore these white Converse high tops and he didn't care who laughed at him. This is on the field to play baseball. He didn't have cleats. So
he's rocking Chucks.
He just wore Chuck Taylors because that's what he had, and he probably looked ridiculous out there. All the other kids probably had black. All the cleats were black back then. Black cleats. He's got high top sneakers on. So he said they didn't care. They said it didn't matter because no matter what shoes he was wearing, he could outrun. There's never anybody they saw beat him in a race.
Even if he has no traction.
They said literally bare feet, he's whooping someone's ass in cleats, the fastest guy you could find.
Awesome.
Everyone said that he knew he was going to play pro ball. Like he had no doubt in his mind that pro ball was his thing, and he would tell anyone that asked, I'm going to be, what are you going to do when you grow up? It wasn't like, I'm going to do this or that. It was like, well, when I'm done playing baseball, maybe whatever. When I'm done with my Hall of Fame Major League career, we'll see from there.
It's great forethought.
Well, I mean, you got to have confidence. Yeah. Nobody it sounds stupid, but you have to have confidence like that to do anything. If you're going to step in to a situation like in a World Series and hit a home run, that'll never happen unless you have confidence. So you have to have an overbearing confidence. It's like fighter pilots. They look for the ones who are not right in the head. Yeah. That's how when they psychologically do it, they look for ones who are narcissists and who have like literally delusions of grandeur of not dying. Yeah. Like, I won't die because I'm me.
Not me. I'm not the guy.
That's what they look for. Someone where you would like, if that person applied for as a police officer, they would go, oh no, we're gonna put a big X on that file. Yeah. That's a dangerous person. Here they go, take a $40 million jet, take that up in the air because
and fly that over a foreign country.
Yeah, you're crazy enough to do it, motherfucker. Because other people go, isn't that dangerous? That sounds dangerous. They're going to be shooting at me while I'm going over them. I don't think I like that idea very much, but that's what they look for. It's the way it is. So,
a girl in high school that said that to a teacher. I don't have to know the answer to this. I'm going to marry an NBA player.
Did she really?
And then she married Eddie House.
So she married a marginal NBA player, but he made it.
He had money.
He made it to the NBA. She's like,
I think he got a championship.
I'll take the best player that ASU has to offer. That's what I'll do.
I'm going to marry him.
And
she did it.
He'll average 7 minutes a game for his career, but he'll play. He'll be on a team. Didn't he go down to Miami or something and win down there? Maybe?
I think he won with the Celtics, but I think he was
he's one of those guys that was on
everything.
11 teams. Yeah, he's one of those guys. It's a different team every year. Just to
played with Miami when LeBron was there. I think.
I want to say. I think you're right. Yeah, I'm
pretty
sounds
sure he
right.
did. They went on a run in I don't know, like a 14 or something like that.
There's lots of pictures of guys celebrating with him around the perimeter, like with his arms up.
On the bench.
There's a lot of those, I think.
With a towel on his shoulders.
That's why he's not in the middle, because he had to come from the bench. So he's running over, like, with his arms up.
While, with a towel.
While, like, 8 people celebrate in the middle, because he was on the end of the bench. He's throwing the towel away. The towel's flying out of one hand, and the cup of Gatorade's flying out of the other as he puts his hands up.
While 5 guys with sweat streaming off them are very happy.
He's like, he's excited. He's pumping. Yeah, we did it.
He's dry.
They're like, we, Eddie? Listen, Eddie.
I cheered for you over there, you guys. We did it.
Listen, calm down. You know what, Eddie? Why don't you grab the guy behind you sitting in those courtside seats, because he was cheering just as loud. I heard him, actually, more than I heard you. So I'm going to go ahead and...
You averaged 7 minutes, but not one in this game.
Yeah, nothing here. None when it counts. Eddie Garbage Time House. That's perfect.
He's like the guy with like that's something off, that he's like the ball boy and they let him play at the end of the season.
Come on,
when
buddy.
It doesn't matter
if they're up or down by 25. They're like, let Eddie hurl up some threes. Let Eddie chuck up some fucking 3 bricks.
Where's your headband, Eddie?
It makes him feel good to just shoot. He likes it. It's fun for him. So they just let him chuck. He's a chucker. Let him chuck. That's how it works for Eddie House. I don't know. It's funny, too. You never know who's going to take shrapnel in a Crime and Sports episode.
Eddie House got it today.
Because you would never think, out of all people, this guy has nothing to do with Eddie House whatsoever. A basketball, a baseball, different sport, played 30 years before him. Right. Nothing. They're not even from this. Nothing similar, but no less. Who's taking the abuse? Eddie House.
Eddie took it on the chin today.
Take that, Eddie House.
It's okay. He had a towel around his neck, so it didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt. He's fine. He's good. We just yanked him by the towel. His friend said, quote, Alan knew he had superior talent. I remember one day I was working, and this was during high school. He had a side job. He said, I remember one day I was working, and he said to me, you know something? I'll never have to work a day in my life. And he kind of laughed. And he said, quote, you know what? You know something? He never did.
How about that?
So there you go. So, no, he should have, as we'll talk about, but he knew right away, I'm never going to have to do this stupid shit you're doing right here. You know how frustrated you are, and you're checking the clock? Nope, never.
Hardest work I'm going to do is make a sound lock.
I don't even own a watch.
Right.
I just know, I have show up at the park, and then I leave when it's over. I don't even know what's up. So his brother, Alan's brother, said, quote, I remember those guys, Alan and all his friends, those guys would actually sit around and practice signing autographs. That's why when you look at his signature, it's always so good. He's been practicing.
Imagine
that.
Yeah,
he had been practicing his autograph from a child because he was. I know a guy who was an actor who always did that and practiced his autograph.
Really?
Always, yeah.
Oh my God.
Practiced it always.
I feel so bad anytime anybody asks us for anything like that. I'm like, I'm going to make this awful now.
I'm going to scribble a thing with a big loop.
I'm going to ruin whatever it is that you have. Why would you want that?
People ask us to say, because my name's long, so you're getting like a big swoopy thing and like a couple of scribbles, and that's pretty much.
I write in all capitals, so I just squiggle some shit.
Yeah, Jimmie just fucking holds it in his hand, the full hand on the marker.
Holds a crayon.
Yeah, it's exactly. I'm doing the physical action, going, describe what I'm doing here. That, and he just does.
Like somebody coloring with a fat crayon.
And his tongue's sticking out of his mouth.
It moves from the left corner to the right one.
That's
there
better.
It is.
That's fucking hilarious. So Alan ends up going to Pasadena City College, is where he goes to college to try to up his status a little bit to get drafted into baseball is what he's looking to do here.
Sure.
So he plays a little bit for Pasadena City College. Now he's a switch hitter with ungodly speed. So he is trying to be, and back in the day, this was it's always going to be valuable, but a switch hitting leadoff guy with speed is that was the prototype back then. You were looking at your Mickey Rivers type guys, although I don't think he was a switch hitter, but guys like that in the 70s were really hot. I mean, the Dodgers had guys like that. The Yankees had guys like that. All these good teams had a.
Who's the Yankees second baseman? The little guy that did that.
Which one?
I don't know. Most recent World Series champion team. The little. I don't know his goddamn name. He was the leadoff hitter. Shit. Sounded like Soriano, but it wasn't.
No.
Wait, was it Soriano? No.
Alfonso Soriano.
I think that's who it is.
Yeah. We had to move him to left field because of second base.
He was on second base, right?
For a minute. It wasn't so good. Yeah.
But was he a switch hitting fast guy?
No. He was fast as fuck. But he was a right-handed power guy.
All right.
That just happened to be. He was a beast.
In my head, I see him switching.
No, he's a righty. No, he was a beast though because when he was young, he was so fast and had so much pop in his back.
Right,
skinny shit.
Moved him out to the outfield.
He was a terrible second base. I gotta wonder though, he got ruined because he came up, in the early 2001 as a shortstop in the Yankee system. So basically, your chance of ever playing is zero.
It's over.
You're done
unless you've got more longevity.
Yeah, unless you want to last out Jeter's 10-year contract that he literally just signed the year before.
And he'll probably get 5 years after that.
That's the thing. So they didn't know what the fuck to do with him. Right. So he wasn't going to play shortstop. They tried second, and then they just traded him to Texas. And
that's right.
For A-Rod.
That's
was
where
the
he
A-Rod
went,
trade. So he goes there. He's a switch hitter. January 11th, 1977. This is the the amateur draft in baseball, but the June draft is the big draft, and then they have kind of a B draft in January, and that's where he is drafted here. And he's selected number 8 overall.
That's great,
which is tremendous. And in this draft here, Dave Righetti goes in this draft as well, the longtime Yankee and Giant reliever, great pitcher. A couple guys like that, but otherwise, it's not the main draft, so it's not really. It's a lot of community college guys going in this draft.
Best of the shit.
Best of the other guys that slip through the cracks, not the kind of highly touted guys here. So he is selected by the Angels, actually.
Great.
Yeah, he's selected by, which is great for him because they play in Anaheim. So he's fucking thrilled about that. Awesome.
Ride the bus to work.
That's what I mean. He's great. He's staying home.
Yeah.
He loves it. So 1977, he goes up and plays for Idaho Falls of the Pioneer League.
Boy, oh boy.
Whew, that sounds like something, huh?
That area.
L.A. all your life.
Right.
Now you're...
And then you land there and they tell you made it.
What? I thought Pasadena was white.
Right.
Jesus Christ. At least there's no militia there. What the fuck is happening?
Also, making it and then landing there feels like a kick in the dick.
In Idaho Falls in 1977. So think about that. That's, I mean, you now you go, oh, geez, I don't go to Idaho Falls.
I've been there in
77.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, think
no
about
good.
30 years earlier. Whoa. God damn. He plays in 63 games here, has 225 at-bats. Does pretty well. 271 average, 420 on base percentage, which is tremendous. 25 stolen bases.
Wow.
That's terrific. 54 walks, only 29 strikeouts. I mean,
he's doing well.
Those are all the factors you want to see in a guy, especially a leadoff hitter. He walks more than he strikes out, steals bases, high on base percentage, average over 270 for a leadoff guy. Fucking A, not too shabby. Only one home run, but you don't want that out of him.
You got a guy 3 spaces down for that.
Yeah, you don't care about that. Get on base, so let the other guy hit the home run. 1978, he plays for Quad City. Quad City in the Midwestern League.
Oh.
Yikes, that's almost as bad as Iowa.
Where the hell is Quad City?
It's Idaho. I think that's Iowa, isn't it? Quad Cities? I think that's Iowa.
I imagine.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Somewhere that's got some fucking cities nearby.
There's 4 small cities.
Okay.
Quad Cities is really...
I get it.
It's pretty optimistic. We'll put it that way. It should be Quad towns.
Quad other places.
Quad small places.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Quad City DJs? Wasn't that a band?
Yeah, that was...
Were they from there?
They had one of those popular, like, Who Let the Dogs Out type songs, but not Who Let the Dogs Out. They had one.
Were
they
bop.
Hey,
Mr. DJ?
Come on, Ride the Train.
Oh, is that them?
Is that them? It might not be them.
I don't know.
It might be them. It's one of those like anthem-y songs they play at sporting events that like your grandmother knows and shit. Yeah, one of those.
Some chick got fingered to against her will.
Exactly.
Behind a bar.
But your grandmother thinks those black guys aren't that threatening. They're like, I like dogs. I have dogs. Who did let the dogs out?
Where are they?
Where are they?
Why is the gate open?
Finally, questions I'd like answered from rappers. See, this is the problem. It's who stole my Coke or who stuck up my corn. Not this. This is something. Who did let the dogs out? I ride the train all the time. I grew up riding a train. It was wonderful. Me and my family used to summer.
We had a great time.
We'd take a train all the way to Kansas every year, and it was beautiful. We'd see the fields while they were blooming with all the spring flowers. It was wonderful. I like these young men.
If only we had a song to seal that memory in our brain.
Here we go. Yay.
Come on, ride the train.
Yes.
And ride it.
And ride it. Choo choo.
Unbelievable. Sorry, Quad City. I'm sure you guys made a shitload of money.
I'm sure. I hope so.
Yeah.
If you did, I hope you saved
Fingers
it.
crossed, fuckers.
That's the type of thing they're still doing that too. They still have to go to like county fairs and like some casino in the middle of fucking like Montana. And they have to,
on a throwback night.
It's them. They're opening for Sir Mix-a-Lot, and they're like, "This sucks, man."
Rolling their eyes.
Yeah, like I have to ride it, choo choo. Yeah, but they don't have like the backup singers anymore because that costs money. So
they're dead.
They're just like, the smallest guy in the group is like, "You're the choo choo motherfucker now." They're like, "What?" Choo choo. Say choo choo, motherfucker. Your voice is the highest. All right, I guess so. You know what to say.
Choo.
There you go. You be the girls. What? I don't want to be the girls.
You be the girl.
Tough shit. Wow, people, Eddie House and the Quad City DJs taking it hard tonight.
Which also sounds sounds like a garage band.
Yeah, Eddie House and the Quad City DJs. That sounds like, who's spinning tonight? Oh, it's Eddie House and the Quad City DJs. Oh, shit, for real? Oh, we're going to party then. That's cool. I'm going to stay. We were going to hit another club. I didn't know that Eddie House and the Quad Cities were here. All right, now they're here. I'm in, man. I'm going to hang out for a while then. because they get that group. You know how it goes, man. Jesus Christ. This is what happens when we're fucking in the house for too long.
This is what happens when
I can't take. I start losing my mind and
we
making
need
fun of Eddie House
and airplanes and delayed air traffic and shit like that to
we
keep
get silly.
This thing rolling. Otherwise,
this is
Eddie
great.
House gets kicked in the dick sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's got to be Eddie House. It's all right, whether it's Eddie House or whether it's a deserving target that we've actually encountered. I think it's all good. They just want to hear us mad at somebody. So for the Quad City DJs here, I assume he took the train all the way from Idaho Falls. He plays in 49 games this year. Only hits .201. This is A ball. The last one was rookie ball. This is A. Only hits .201, but he has 26 stolen bases, which is pretty good. Yeah. Still walks more than he strikes out, but the average is a little bit of an issue for them. They're concerned about that. 341 on base percentage, though, so he's still getting on base. Problem is, midway through the season, when he's starting to come around, because he started out very slowly and then started to, he's a slow starter, as a lot of leadoff hitters are slow starters for some reason. I don't know why, but he's a slow starter, so as he was starting to get into it, he gets in a physical fight with one of his coaches.
The coach?
Yeah, which when you're 20 years old playing A ball,
I can see it happening.
You can't do it, though, and especially if you're like not a real, they didn't pay you a fuckload in a signing bonus, they'll just cut you. They don't care. Just fuck you. What do they give a shit?
Just do what you're told.
They have nothing invested in you. Right. And back then, even every team had like 18 farms. They don't even know who you are.
Right.
You're on who the fuck is that guy in A ball?
The actual Angels have never heard of you.
No,
work harder.
The actual Angels know their number one draft pick. Mm-hmm. That's who they know. Right. Everybody else is like, one scout said he was pretty good and they picked him up. That one draft pick is like, that's our guy. That first rounder.
At the end of the week, I'll get a report and know how he's doing.
Exactly. Otherwise,
or a frantic phone call from a coach with an ice pack on his eye.
Yeah, saying I just got, I don't know. He's screaming about Eddie House and I don't know what the fuck happened. He just beat my ass. It's crazy. So he's June 10th, 1978. The Angels release him.
Oh no.
There you go. There are your dreams, asshole.
Oh, that's got to sting.
I would say now you're 20, and especially you're home, so it's like you gotta come all the way home from Iowa.
Yeah.
Now, knowing that you just got shit canned out of your
home team's farm system.
Yeah, that's bad news, man. That'll be in the local paper too. You're like, oh man, all my friends are gonna read about this.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them, or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
This shit. So he goes 6 months. No one signs him for the rest of the season.
Really?
The minor league season's shorter anyway, so they were going to sign him for another 10 games. But January 26th, 1979, he signed as a free agent with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well,
so how lucky can you be?
How does that even happen?
Your city has 2 teams.
Yeah.
You choke a coach in one of them, and they fucking cut you, and then the other one's like, we'll give him a shot. It's all right.
And he went from the not-so-good L.A. team to the much better L.A. team.
In 79, too, the Dodgers were a fucking powerhouse in the late 70s. They were going to the World Series
every year. It's like getting cut from the Mets and signed by the Yankees.
Yeah, in the late 90s.
Right. You know? It's unbelievable.
Sure, no problem. Well, I don't want to be in 4th place anyway, so this doesn't hurt that bad. So he's psyched about it. And 79, he signs with the Dodgers, like we said here. And he plays at Clinton, which I don't know where that is, but it's in the Midwestern League in A-ball that year. Plays in 95 games, has 296 at bats, and he hits 257, and he has 43 steals this year, though, which is a big deal. That's a lot. They're looking at him as being a speedster. Still only no home runs this year, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? He's doing well. So 79, he's doing great. 1980, he plays for Lodi in the California League.
Yeah.
Whew, that's
a tough league.
At least you're close to home, though.
Yeah.
I mean, better than
that's ugly though.
Better than the Midwest if you're from LA. It is ugly. You don't want.
It's just
you don't
desert.
Want to be there. But he plays 135 games this year for them. This is serious, and this is A-ball too. But it's a long. They have short season A-ball and long season A-ball. This is full season A-ball. He has 513 at bats, hits 288,
great,
390 on base percentage, steals 120 steals.
That's our guy.
120.
Yeah.
That's getting everyone's attention in the I don't care if you're an A-ball, everyone in that organization knows who the fuck you are if you stole 120 bases. That's like hitting 45 home runs somewhere. Everyone go, who's that kid who hit 45 home runs? Let's talk about him.
It's awesome.
So 120 steals is insane. That's Ricky Henderson level thievery. That's fucking wild.
Right.
So Tommy Lasorda, the manager and future Slim Fast enthusiast there, he called Alan after spring training the fastest man on 2 legs.
Lasorda said that.
Lasorda said that.
That's awesome.
He's seen a few ball players in his day, and he says fastest man on 2 legs right there. That's impressive. So the Dodgers, you would think he's their future leadoff hitter, but instead they leave him unprotected in the free agent draft.
Really?
Yeah, they leave him. It's the Rule 5 draft. They leave him unprotected, and everyone's like, why? Now, the Dodgers said, quote, it was known in our organization that he had a problem, there, and the Dodgers didn't want any part of it.
Really?
And he's got different... Well, there's anger and there's other things. One of them is that he was arrested for possession of marijuana.
Okay.
And they didn't want any part of the whole.
Really?
Yeah, they thought he had other drug problems they were suspicious of anyway. Violent to that coach, and now he's weed. And I think 120 steals, you'd probably want to work with a guy.
Yeah.
Unless he gets caught with like a trunk full of crack. I think you'd probably want to work with him. It's a lot of steals.
I don't. For my money, though, if I'm betting on a guy, I'm gambling harder on the guy that does all that and he smokes weed.
Yeah.
Imagine if he doesn't smoke
you take the weed out of him. Yeah, he's really going to be running even more.
To get that away from him.
No shit.
That's awesome.
Not bad. So December 8th, 1980, it's basically the Rule 5 draft. So he's drafted by, could it get any easier for this guy? Guess where he's drafted by?
New York.
San Diego.
Well, just running up and down the West Coast?
Just right there, a couple hours down that way, no problem. Still warm. And who the fuck gets drafted by that's insanity. That's
all the sunny West Coast teams.
Who doesn't want to get drafted by these 3 teams?
He's going to retire his last 3 years with the Giants? Is that what's going to happen?
Probably. He's going to coach Oakland after that. It's going to be a nice little...
Head on up the coast a bit and put on a hoodie.
That's it. Just sit there in the dugout.
Bundle up.
Chilly tonight, huh?
Chomp down some sunflower seeds.
What the fuck? So December 8th, 1980, that's the Rule 5 draft where he is drafted by the Padres from the Dodgers. Okay. And from there, it's also right around this time where he marries Angie, his junior high school sweetheart.
Sure. May as well.
Yeah. I mean, life's going pretty well for him.
It's fine.
He fucks up and he keeps, that's when you know you're talented.
Yeah.
When you haven't even played in the majors yet. You've never played past A ball.
Right.
And they're still people are willing to take chances on you, even though you're fucking up then.
He's literally fucking upwards.
Fucking upwards.
He's fucking up.
This reminds me of Otis Nixon, actually.
Yeah.
If you remember, Otis Nixon got busted for coke like multiple times while he was in the minor leagues, and he'd get promoted the next year. It was like, he just got busted for coke.
Like yesterday.
What do you expect? Do you expect him to think that he's shouldn't do coke? You literally rewarded him. Oh, you're arrested? By the way, you're up to AAA next year. Enjoy. Fucking stupid. So 1981, he goes up to the San Diego Padres here, and the Padres, they're not that good here. They finished 6th in the division.
It's been a while since they've been anything that matters.
Yeah, they weren't good at all until 84.
Yeah,
this time was bad. This is pre Tony Gwynn and all that sort of thing. So he 81 Padres is up there. They said that all of the players, by the way, his buddies, the 4 of the crew that he grew up with there, all 4 of them were drafted, but Wiggins was the only one who made it past AA.
Really?
So he made it to the majors. He's the only one who makes it to the majors. Yeah, so it was cool. So his friends were fucking psyched for him. Yeah. Like, well, one of us made it anyway. They said, the Stone guy said, quote, when we saw him, we'd always pick his brain, wanting to know how he made it. He'd tell us we could all make it, making us feel good. You guys can do it too. It's like, we're not the fastest man on 2 legs.
Right.
So,
which is a stupid thing. The fastest man on 2. Is there a man with 3 legs that's faster? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I bet a guy with 3 legs would be pretty fast.
I don't know about that, but I do know for sure that a man with 1 leg is not going to beat him.
No, not at all. No, unless there's a wheel on it, it's not going to work.
And a motor behind
a propulsion device involved here. So, he's going to make his major league debut in 81, but he only plays 15 games because it's a September call-up. They call people up at the end of the season. So he plays in, where their minor league was, their AAA where he got to play? Back then. I mean, they switch all the time. Hawaii. How blessed is this guy? Somewhere better. They're like, where's better than San Diego weather-wise? Well, there's only one place in the world. We better put our AAA team there. Like, how the fuck dare you? You don't even play in the majors yet. You get to live in Hawaii for fucking 6 months?
We would have done it in Fiji, but it was just...
it's a little too far.
Yeah.
It's like...
it's a little more moist than Hawaii.
Get the fuck out of here. Hawaii. Jesus Christ. He plays 133 games in Hawaii, hits 302 because he's just thrilled with his life.
Because he's happy as fuck.
He's just thrilled. He's loving life. 73 stolen bases. Jesus. This is a terrific time for him. It's got to be wonderful. He's feeling good.
I can't imagine.
He's eating poi, whatever the shit that is.
Poi.
I don't know. He's eating it. Those pigs that they roast that look delicious.
Yeah.
They look good. Crispy skin and everything.
Jesus.
I'll have some of that.
Is it pronounced poke or pokey?
It's pokey. All right. Like a pokey bowl.
Yeah. Tons of that shit.
Good shit, man.
So much of that there.
Good shit. I was so mad. I was watching, this is way off the subject, but once again, you never know who's going to catch some shrapnel. We were watching one of the 90 Day Fiance shows because I like to yell at idiots.
Yeah.
And we're watching one. It's one of the ones where the Americans go over there to wherever the fuck.
To their place.
To their place first. I think it's before the 90 days, right? So this idiot, this guy's a fucking dildo, okay? He's just a dipshit. He's, I don't know. He's like, he bought an RV and like moved into an RV park. He's going to try to move some girl from the Philippines over to his RV.
Oh, Jesus.
Dirtbag, okay? So this fucking guy goes over there.
God, the arrogance of Americans.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Wouldn't you rather live in a fucking mobile home? When they get
not just any mobile home, but in a mobile home amongst other people who just live in mobile homes.
A bunch of old people,
right?
Too, there. It's and I think it's like rural Nevada. He lives in, like outside of Vegas somewhere, like
some place called
basically where Cousin Eddie was living in Vegas Vacation. That's his neighbor. He can wave to Cousin Eddie.
Place with a single syllable town name.
Yeah, that's so. Long story short, he goes over there, and turns out her place was even worse than the RV.
Really,
their family was in the Philippines, and they were extremely, extremely, extremely poor, the whole family. And they made for him, because he's a guest from another country that was coming.
Yeah.
So they made this feast for him that was this pig that is the girl said the last time they'd had it was when she was a kid because it's so expensive and they know they can't afford it. Yeah. They made like their once a decade feast for this fucking guy
on
to try to impress him.
Right.
Who knows what they had to do to get this pig? And they roasted it and it looked beautiful. And the dad was chopping it up and said he roasted it for 6 hours and he took him forever to chop it up. And the guy wouldn't eat it.
What?
He wouldn't. He's like, I don't like it. I don't want to eat that. It's weird.
You asshole.
I don't want to get sick. And they were like, are you out of your fucking mind? These fucking people have nothing and they gave you a pig and you're going to sit here and fucking scoff at it? Fuck you, dude. I was screaming and throwing shit at the TV. It was bad stuff. There's no sports. I have to yell at somebody to do something.
I would be furious as that father.
He was just sitting there dumbfounded. Just the guy had
it was either this or fruit fly soup, you motherfucker.
He's like, this is 15 years it's been since we've had this. I've worked all day and you're going to, they hated him. It was great. Fucking great. And then he ended up marrying her over in the RV park.
Really?
At the gazebo.
God, Jesus.
It was sad, Jimmy. He got some like fucking Home Depot plants with the hanger still attached to him and like lined the fucking thing with it.
Wow.
It was sorry ass.
In like Goats, Nevada.
Yeah, it was not good, man.
Something terrible.
This girl's like, the Philippines are looking better every day. I'm sure.
So I'm out here in Sheep's Crossing, Nevada.
The worst. Fucking Elk Snot, Nevada. He plays in Hawaii here. He plays he's a second baseman and he plays in the infield for his whole minor league career, except for in Hawaii when they move him to the outfield for some reason. So that's the only thing there. Problem is Jimmy's dropping shit. You lousy son of a bitch. That was like Eddie House shooting a 3-pointer, basically. It was the same.
Made the same clang.
That was a brick is what it sounded like. So that's the sound of a 3-pointer from Eddie House. So he, during the 1981 season, he's arrested again, this time again for possession of marijuana. So, I mean, obviously, I don't give a shit if you're smoking weed. Smoke all the weed you want, but this is twice in 2 years he's been arrested for possession of marijuana, and his job kind of frowns on that sort of shit. So maybe not the best idea for you, dude. Not that I'm judging you, but, I mean, what the fuck?
When your dream frowns upon it. It's not just your job. It's the dream job that he wanted.
And especially if you're him, who has, like, had... He's on like his third chance already. Yeah. I mean, hasn't done anything. He's already on his third team.
Right.
I mean, that's weird.
Granted,
for a guy who's 21.
Feel that way because he's been blessed with Hawaii.
He's been blessed with all these wonderful teams. Now, the Padres farm director Tom Romanesco, the silver-haired middle-aged Padre, he says, "quote We didn't think it was anything problematic of a thing." He said, "We just thought it was a social thing. I grew up in Wisconsin. You don't think I drink beer? He was caught by the police, so we just hit it." So they just fucking hit it. There's no articles that say this. This came out later. Like,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, we just hit it. Fuck it.
There is a difference between those two, sir. One is illegal and one is not.
That's the problem for if you're getting arrested for it. But they were like, I mean, he's from fucking L.A. People smoke weed in L.A. I'm from Wisconsin. If cops could arrest you for drinking beer, I'd probably get arrested a couple times, I think is what he was getting at.
Smoking that Wisconsin beer in L.A.
Oof, it's good shit there. So this team here, this is Ozzie Smith as a young guy is on this team. Really? He's the shortstop before he goes to St. Louis later on and, makes his career there, obviously.
He's amazing.
He's be the wizard, for Christ's sake. Terry Kennedy's the catcher on this team. He only plays 15 games for the Padres, but he hits .357 in those 15 games. Steals a couple of bases. Not bad. Has a daughter.
Really?
And his wife have a daughter named Cassandra in 1981. So there you go. Life is good.
Yeah.
He's a major leaguer with a wife and a daughter.
He's doing it.
Not too fucking shabby. 1982, he plays for the Padres. He finishes the Padres finish 81-81 that year.
Right up the middle.
Right up the middle. Just very mediocre. And this is Tony Gwynn's rookie year. 22-year-old Tony Gwynn is up in late September here for a call up. So it's wild.
Is that a svelte Tony Gwynn?
This is a thin Tony Gwynn.
Thin.
Tony thin. Tony had like speed back then. He was known as like a rangy outfielder. Now,
that's going to go wrong.
Later on, he just looked like a guy who you pulled out of a cubicle and were like, put this jersey on. He's like, really? I don't know if I just had lunch. Like, I'm gassy. And they're like, that's fine. Just stand out in right field. You'll be all right. Hit 380 and stand in right field. Don't worry about it.
Just push your belly behind that bat.
Dude, nobody has looked worse and hit better than him besides Babe Ruth, maybe, is the only guy who's looked worse.
But Kirby Puckett didn't get gross until after.
Yeah, Kirby wasn't fat when he played. He was just built like a fire plug.
Yeah.
I mean, his fucking...
It was all shoulders.
His calves
and
were
legs,
the size of, a normal person's thigh.
Right.
Like, he was just a thick dude, because he was short, too. But fucking... No, there's some bad-looking people here.
There's another twin that looked that way, too. Kirby Puckett.
There's a few in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Ken Herbeck was a big fucker, but he was like a big stocky son of a bitch there. But I mean, it was Tony Gwynn was one of the fatter guys. Like he's just all belly.
Right.
He just looks like a guy who just hasn't been out of the house in like 8-9 months.
He's Mo Vaughn.
Mo Vaughn even was just a thick dude who got big later on.
Yeah.
But he was a big thick dude before that. Like first couple of years, his shoulders were just huge, and
that was steroids.
Oh, wow, clearly,
a lot
of steroids. That's late 90s.
Yeah.
Everyone was jacked up on that shit. So Gary Templeton's on this team. Sixto Lescano, one of the best fucking names in baseball history.
Wow.
Sixto.
It all rhymes.
Sixto.
That's awesome.
That's his real name. He doesn't have 6 toes. That wasn't a nickname. So pretty cool shit there. So he makes his transition to second base there, and he's one of the best defensive. He's really good at second base, but in the outfield he was doing great because he's so speedy. He leads the National League second baseman with 381 putouts that year, so does pretty well there. He's good defensively. This year he plays in 72 games for the Padres. He splits time. He has 254 at bats, hits 256, not too shabby. Only 33 stolen bases, but still, that's a lot for anybody really. He's useful, exactly. So he's doing well. The Padres like what they see in him in 82.
All right.
They really like him until July 21st, 1982, when they like him a little bit less. This is a little embarrassing for him. It's July 21st, 82, in San Diego, 2:45 a.m.
Oh, no.
in a deserted industrial park.
Yep.
So obviously good things are happening here.
Playing sandlot, just getting
he's getting loose.
Reps in.
Yeah, that's what he does. He does wind sprints in a sandlot at 2:45. So clearly, anyone in here is not up to. They're up to something that they don't want anyone to see them doing. That's why they're out there.
They want the sun off of whatever this activity is.
Yeah, they might as well be in a cave somewhere. That's what they're doing. So he's in his car there, and some police who are doing normal scans
patrols.
Say, I wonder what the hell that person is doing in their car. So as they pull up to him, they see something fly out of the window of his car. He threw something out of the window of his car. They saw his hand go up, and in the light they saw something shine off of it for a second and was gone. What they end up finding is it's a little more than a gram of cocaine wrapped in tinfoil that he threw out the window. So this is where this isn't weed anymore. Now we're talking about something different. This isn't, it's a social thing. It's not, there's nothing social about being alone in a deserted industrial park in the middle of the night in San Diego.
He was all by himself?
By himself. This is, he's pulled in there to do some lines probably.
Just by himself.
He probably met a guy there, or he might have just met a guy to buy some.
That guy took off. Now he's left alone to his own devices.
That's it. Or he just bought it and he pulled in there to do a line maybe, or who the fuck knows what it is. But
so lonely.
Whatever it is, this isn't social. No. You can't say it's a social thing. He's just hanging out with his friend smoking a joint. This is as non-social as you get.
This is how I get along with me.
Yeah, this is how I get through the day. That's what this is. This is ugly. This is fucking ugly. This is, he does this just like Eddie House throws up threes and misses. That's how it works. So he, the Padres are not happy about this at all. The Wiggins put it that he needs to address this matter in finality. That's the way he put it when they asked him about it. So from the next day, July 22nd, to actually that day, July 21st, because it was in the morning, until September 19th, he undergoes treatment at an Orange County drug rehab center.
That's great.
Misses like 2 months of the season, but still, he's,
proactive.
He's being proactive there. The Padres later would say, back when Alan was arrested in 1982 for possession of cocaine, we told him we wanted him to go up to Orange County for treatment. We told him that we would continue to pay his salary and that we would stand by him, but that we would do so, but we would do this only one time. If he got in trouble again, that was it. It's like, we'll give you one, hey, you fucked up, you got a problem, you get some help, and if you clean it up, then great, which is good. I mean, you don't want people being thrown away for having a problem.
But sending him to Orange County, it's almost like a vacation.
Sending him, he's from L.A.
It does not have a stigma of working.
No, they should have sent him to like fucking New Mexico or somewhere terrible where there's nothing to do but concentrate.
Send him to Las Cruces to get in touch with himself.
Send him to where that guy's RV park was, where he married that poor Filipino girl. Send him there, wherever that is. That's exactly where he needs to go. He
should have a walkway lined with Home Depot plants to the door of this
amazing,
place.
and then lock it behind him. So Alan says, quote, through the efforts of my attorney, my participation in this program qualified me for the state of California diversion program as a means of satisfying the charges against him. Mm-hmm. So that's the other thing, because he's a first-time offender for cocaine, he's allowed to, with rehab, participate in this diversionary program, which kind of just makes it so he doesn't have nothing criminal comes out of it.
Handle
basically.
this yourself. Don't come in front of me again.
Exactly. The diversion program would erase the record of the arrest and booking after a 2-year period if he doesn't have any further arrests.
2 years.
So expunged off the record. That's
great.
That's terrific.
That probably doesn't exist today.
Probably not. It sounds like it might be a good idea, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. So they probably have different versions of that.
Doesn't sound like privatized prisons would want that law. That law sounds like shit to them.
A lot of states have first-time diversion programs.
Do they?
So, yeah, especially for drugs. Yeah, basically, if you complete a rehab, I don't know if it's like that, like your record gets expunged.
That's pretty amazing.
They have a lot of not basically first-time non-jail diversion. Some states. Yeah, I'm sure in Alabama, if you're caught with a half gram of coke, you're doing hard labor. Yeah. You're breaking up rocks for 10 to 12. I'm sure, but
making little rocks out of big rocks.
Yeah, that's what you're doing basically. So the commissioner also is said that the commissioner of the League of Baseball said that Wiggins is going to be placed on probation until he completes his drug rehab and all the diversion programs. They said, this is the Bowie Kuhn, who is the commissioner of baseball. He said during the term of his probation, monthly reports will be made to the commissioner's office and to the Padres detailing Wiggins' rehabilitation efforts. Wow. He also warned Wiggins publicly that any further future involvement in drugs will jeopardize his career completely. So, he says that after he gets out of rehab for a month, he says he's truly sorry. He didn't mean to do it. Yeah. It just happens.
My bad.
That's it. Bowie Kuhn suspends him for 30 days without pay. That's his league punishment for it. And the Padres vice president said that the suspension was for the arrest, not because he had a coke problem. That's not why he was suspended. So that's how that works. He has to post $2,000 bail in the morning, and he's freed. It was a felony to begin with here, so that's a kind of a big deal. He immediately, his agent told him to go to a drug rehab center immediately. That'll help his legal problems. And the Padres paid for all that shit, by the way.
That's nice.
Yeah, not too shabby. One of the teammates here said, one of the team officials of the Padres said, I think there were a number of very significant traumas in his personal life that very few people know about. It was one of the issues where he was depressed or preoccupied, and it was perceived as an arrogance or aloofness. At the time, he was carrying the weight of the world on his two shoulders, and no one knew. This time, he was sent to a drug rehabilitation center in Orange County, and Tony Gwynn said, I remember when that happened, he sat by me and started telling me about the rehab centers. It was like he was laughing about it. He was saying how they don't faze him, and he told me, quote, you can't rehab a guy in 28 days. You just can't do it.
No.
He knew. He was like, yeah, that's fucking hilarious. They sent me there for 30 days thinking that was going to clean me up. He's like, funny, right?
It can't faze me.
It can't faze me, he said.
That's not what they're trying to do, man. They're trying to help you.
But this guy, there's a problem with Alan, too, is Tony Gwynn also said, when he said that, I knew sooner or later he'd relapse, he said, because obviously. Right. And it's tough, man, with this type of shit, because he's a smart guy, Alan Wiggins, by the way. We'll find out later on when he's on the Orioles the Orioles have a team psychologist for whatever purposes, and they gave everyone an IQ test, and he was second highest IQ of anyone besides Earl Weaver, the manager.
Really?
Earl Weaver was the top, and
he's a genius.
This guy
so he's the smartest player.
He's the smartest player and smarter than any of the coaches, but Earl Weaver. So he's a really smart guy. So the problem is, if he was dumb, you could just be like, yeah, you go to rehab, and dumb people will buy into shit a lot of times easier. But a smart person literally goes, yes, I know intellectually that I can't be rehabilitated in 28 days, so this is fucking stupid. And his attitude isn't right about it.
And I also, as a smart person, realize what they're trying to do, and they will not manipulate me because I'm better than them.
That's the other thing that you have to, and he gets a lot of that. That follows him through his whole career.
It's dangerous.
His mouth gets him in trouble, and a lot of times it's even if he's right, he doesn't realize that it's better for him in the long run to not cause a scene or not be arrested or not do this line. Yeah, it's a matter of a guy who, listen, if you fucking don't have a lot when you come up, as we know, both of us do, you do have a bit of a chip on your shoulder with shit like that. And especially if you're half smart and you know you're surrounded, you fucking know growing up, you intellectualize the fact of what this is. It's not just, well, this is what people do. You're like, fuck, other people have better and I have this and this sucks.
I can do better.
You get a chip on your shoulder and you get that thing of, well, I pulled myself out of shit to be here. So clearly, not only am I smarter, but I am also better and more talented, more blessed by God.
I'm certainly superior to you people.
Superior, exactly. And it's understandable. You'd have to have that attitude to get to where he is. That's the thing. You can't have one without the other.
But the bummer is not recognizing what you're superior at, and then also understanding that superiority also comes with flaws and shortcomings, and those shortcomings are bringing you down, you fucking jerk.
The thing is, learn how to play the margins.
Right.
There's a lot of guys who learned how to play the margins. Barry Bonds was kind of like that, and he was a dick to everybody and everything. But guess what? He stuck around for 20 years and made himself a shit ton of money because he knew how to play the margins.
Broke my heart in the meantime.
That's what happens.
I tried to get an autograph.
Yeah, good luck with
Came
that.
out the other door. You fucking asshole.
Good luck with that.
There's a bunch of kids standing here.
He is a dick.
Ganglierian dick.
He's a dick. I've heard very few good off the field things about Barry Bonds, like as far as like his teammates go. Not a real well loved guy. They're just a dick just to be a dick. He's one of those guys.
It felt like he enjoyed it.
Yeah, he enjoyed it.
As he ran down the other side of the field, not looking at any of us. So like, we like you.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
What the fuck? Apparently, Dusty Baker took none of that shit, by the way.
I hope so.
He said, like, the teammates would have to take it, but Rod told me, he said, Dusty Baker didn't take that shit at all. Dusty was a big, tough son of a bitch, and he used to take Barry in the office, and he said you'd hear fucking pictures falling off the wall and shit banging around, and then Barry would come out chastened. He'd come out being a nicer guy for a couple of days. We're like, we don't know
until the next one.
We're like, we don't know what the fuck Dusty was doing in there, but something.
We don't know what Dusty broke.
Some shit. So 83, they also, the Padres, the 83 season, they also finish 81 and 81. So mediocre to the fucking nth degree here. And this is kind of the same squad. Add Kurt Bavacqua, the bubblegum blowing champion of the 70s. There's a baseball card of him blowing a bubble bigger than his head.
I think you showed me that.
Yeah, they have that. And also young Kevin McReynolds on this team, future Met later on.
Really?
Yeah. So Padres this year for Alan, he plays in 144 games, has 503 at-bats, hits 276, 360 on base percentage, which is damn fine, 65 steals, which is great. Can't beat that shit at all. I'm sorry, 65 walks. He has 66 steals.
There you go.
So not too shabby for him. It's a fine year. Fine first, that's his first really full year. He played 144 games, and this was after rehab and everything. He came off of that, and the Padres were impressed with him.
Sure.
Since then, they said that in the off season, he worked in conjunction with the San Diego Police Department to do presentations for anti-drug programs to kids and crime prevention to high schools and shit like that. He'd go around and make speeches to the local high schools. Hey, him and a couple cops would be there. Hey, look at me. I got busted for coke last year. That's fucking stupid. That was his deal.
How cool is that to say in public, though, to kids?
Yeah.
I got busted for coke.
It was good, kids. I'm not going to lie. Now, listen, there's a reason why people do it, understand? Right. So this is why I'm telling you not to do it, because it's really good. Yeah. I mean, real good. You're going to feel better than you ever felt before. Now, don't do it, though. Right. I don't want you to do it.
Picture your best day and multiply it by 10 and never do that.
But never, ever do that. It's bad. Super bad.
Never have that.
I did it, and it was fun, but you should never do it. That's the thing.
I did it, and I loved it.
So that's fucking great. By the way, his family calls him Tony, which is weird.
How did we get there?
I don't know.
That's
no idea.
What?
None of his names.
I can't see from A to B.
Tony. I don't get it. So he said that later on he would acknowledge to his family and friends that he would sometimes be intentionally stubborn.
Yeah.
Just to see how people would react to it. He would just be difficult just to be difficult, just to see how he was curious to see how people would react, especially his teammates. He liked to fuck with baseball players and see how they were. Yeah. So a lot of them were kind of comfortable.
Yeah.
Baseball, too, is one of those things. If you read Jim Bouton's Ball 4, and I highly recommend, especially now you guys have time, get the audio version of it. Yeah. It's him reading it, and it's fucking funny because he'll be telling a story, and he'll be like laughing while he's reading it because he remembers it and shit. But
that's great.
He's a guy who's a little different than the other guys. Baseball's a meathead game.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, I love to play baseball, but a lot of the guys who play it are meatheads.
Sure,
and they, like we've said with like a Lenny Dykstra saying, "Don't read, it'll hurt your eyes." Yeah. That's encouraged. That's a guy who's going to make it because he doesn't, he's only concerned about baseball. That's the type of sport baseball is. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like Jim Bouton talks about, he would, talk to the teammates and he'd want to talk about bigger things, and guys just didn't understand it or get it, or they're just kind of a meatheady thing, and you're out of place in that if you're half smart. So,
and it's a machismo about that whole sport too. It's pretty impressive. It's intense.
It's machismo, and it's like,
and it carries over into retirement when they're done with the game, with Lenny claiming to be the best cunnilingus expert on the planet.
You have to be that.
Yeah.
If you're going to be Lenny Dykstra and walk on the edge and fucking swing for the fences and dive at the wall for the ball, I mean, you got to also do that too. That's what I mean. That's what nobody gets, is that comes with the pro. You don't get that without that. You just don't.
You can't pick and choose. That's
you can't
what
pick
the
and
man
fucking
is.
choose. That's what I mean. If you want a guy who plays like that, off the field, he's not going to come off and be Mr. Contrite. It's just not the way it's going to work.
No. I'm going to bury my face in puss.
Yeah. So, so then I'll be back later. When I get out of this dumpster. Fuck, man. So, but I mean, I don't fault him for, that's why he was a good player.
Yeah.
So he would be intentionally stubborn, and he liked to debate people, and he was a smart guy, and he liked to fucking show it, and he liked to exercise his brain. They said that he liked to talk a lot of shit with Eric Shao. Eric Shao probably will have an episode at some point too. Eric Shao, he's a Padre pitcher. He's a bit of a disaster.
CHAU?
No, SHOW, like show. But
really?
It's Shao. Yeah, Eric Shao. He was on the same team. Lamar Hoyt is on these teams that we had an episode about. There's a lot of fucked up people on these teams. Eric Shao had some drug issues here, and Eric Shao is a hardcore conservative politically. He's a member of the John Birch Society.
Fantastic.
Which is like, if you don't know what that is, that's like to right of the right.
Yeah.
That's people who are like, well, we could just burn the poor for heat, right? I mean, if the poor are cold, they have big families, choose the two most useless members and burn them on the fire for warmth. What the fuck? That's kind of the John Birch Society there.
Okay.
It's a little, outside the bounds. So apparently very different from the political leanings of Alan Wiggins, who is a black guy from LA that grew up in the 60s, who is, didn't like segregation and shit like that. So they're going to have very different political.
But didn't have a fucking thing.
No, he didn't have a thing.
He didn't even have cleats to play in.
That's what I'm saying. So they're going to argue a lot. And he said, a teammate said they would scream at each other for 20 minutes at a time in the fucking locker room.
Wow.
Full volume. Teammates would start to get in the middle to stop a fight, and then Wiggins would just stop out of nowhere and they'd shake hands and go, "This was a wonderful discussion, Eric. Good job. I'll see you next time." Literally, they would just stop and go, "Great discussion, Eric. That's terrific." They just both wanted to have a political debate, but it had nothing to do with personal. They weren't mad at each other personally about it. They were just exercising.
Remember when that could happen?
Yeah. Now they would have stabbed each other.
That's not happening.
They would have
today.
fucking stabbed each other.
There are bats all over that fucking clubhouse.
Oh, this
so many weapons.
This would have been as soon as somebody brought up anything, everyone would be, hey, no.
Somebody's snapping
We're not
one
talking
over their
about
thigh
that.
and trying to stab the other.
We're not talking about that, because it would be a fucking problem. Especially in baseball, because, like, all right, in football, you're going to get, it's politically, it's pretty one-sided, the locker rooms. It's pretty, most of the black guys aren't real conservative.
It's going to be a few.
And a lot of the white guys are, siding with the black guys because they've, played with them and they understand shit. And
they want a ring.
Yeah. And then like Tom Brady's over there going, well, I made $100 million last year, so I don't give a shit.
Fuck all of you.
Fuck all you hoes. He's just being Biggie over here.
I made $100 million last year and I donated 20 to Trump.
That's what I mean. And we're not taking any political stance. We're just saying it's football, it's whatever. Basketball, it's like, it's 100%.
There might
not
be
a lot of
one
conservatism.
dude, and he ain't opening his mouth.
That's what I mean.
He is far outnumbered.
Baseball is diverse. Baseball, you'll have like 3 black guys, 8 Hispanic guys, 9 Hispanic guys, and 12 white guys in a room. So it's just people from different countries that
so
are
much
like
culture involved in that sport.
It's so much, So you get it's a different thing. So to talk about politics in a baseball locker room could get ugly fast because you have no idea where people are coming from. You'll have some guy who was like from Cuba talk about how dare you say this, and fucking communists start screaming about Castro, and then this guy will come out and you never fucking know who's going to be mad at what.
Right.
So who knows? Tony Gwynn said it was like point counterpoint. Wiggs just loved that. I mean, Wiggs would say, what do you like better, Coke or Pepsi? He could care less. He just wanted an answer. And as soon as you said one thing, he'd take the other side and make you argue about it.
Wow.
That's just how he did. Just like to debate. But he'd respect you for putting up an argument. He was testing your intellect, basically. Let's see if you could mount an argument. Why do you like that? Well, for what? Well, then what about this? Or what about that? He just fuck with you. It's all he's,
he loves debate team.
Yeah, he's
sounds awful.
He's, as Wu-Tang described, the Inspector Deck character. He's Inspector Deck.
And just contrary for the sake of being contrary because he wants to see how smart you
He's
are.
also fucking bored.
Yeah.
If baseball's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah, and also he might be just looking for learning another side of something too, you know what I mean? Because there is a point to debating, and that is it there, is seeing the other perspective of somebody else. It's not just to argue your fucking point and get your whole fucking diatribe out and say, I'm right.
Well,
you also
now it is kind of. Yeah,
people that's what it's turned into.
Debating, though, like among a debate thing is, you're going to talk.
An actual debate used to be to learn, and now it's to fucking
one person talks
somebody.
And then you listen and then you respond and then they respond to you, and it's an interesting thing. Now it's I'll be louder.
Right. I'll be louder and say that I'm right more, which is not even...
That'll make you understand.
That'll make you learn something.
That'll make you learn now.
Oh, boy.
So they just weren't... he wanted to debate people. He wanted to put up an argument. He wanted to just fucking see what they had in them. And like I said, in baseball, these guys show up at fucking noon for a 7:00 game. It's just boring. There's nothing to do.
Hours.
You're sitting around a lot. Right. So, I mean, on traveling, you're on a plane, you're in a hotel. It's a lot of time to idle fucking time, basically. A lot of people couldn't figure him out. That was the thing. He just couldn't figure him out. A padre named Tim Flannery said, I think Alan was confused. Even his best friends never knew him. I don't know if he was searching, had a chip on his shoulder, or what it was. I don't agree with a lot of the things he did, and I didn't like him much, to be honest with you. But we were on the same ball club, and we respected one another. He said, people who don't play professional sports say you should know everything about a guy, but we didn't know him. Who did? Maybe he didn't want to play. Maybe he didn't like playing. Maybe he didn't want success. I don't know. I've got a lot more questions than...
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so...
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
with a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Anything else. So that's...
Maybe he didn't want you to know.
That's the other thing. He liked being a little bit of an enigma to people, too. That was it. I guess he had some marital problems. Uh-oh. He's got some problems at this point in time. Some marital problems there. He never wanted a divorce, though. Yeah. They said that when anyone would suggest, why don't you just get divorced, he would get mad and be like, how dare you, basically. He said he didn't have a father and he wasn't going to leave his kids no matter what. He was going to be a father. Both parents are going to be in that house, even if they killed each other.
Yeah.
They're going to die at home. Damn it. So, I guess he was the type of guy that, you know, when you're an athlete, you're very public, and he wanted to draw a line between I have a private life that is not to be crossed, and then there's a public life, and that's all fine, and then leave me the fuck alone at home, which I respect. That's totally fine. His mother at this point as well, his mother Carla, who, you know, had raised him and no father around, she at this point develops Alzheimer's, which is a problem.
It's the ugliest.
It's ugly. It's the worst, and she's pretty young for it too. So it's just
how old is she?
It's just tragic. She's in her 50s.
Oh my God!
It's absolutely tragic. I mean, that's horrible. And some of his friends say, you know, they thought that triggered his cocaine dependency, but he's already in an industrial park at 2:30 in the morning.
It's a thing.
It's a thing well before this. His brother Donald said that's bullshit. Also, they said no way that's what it is. But
he's not even in his 30s yet, though, right?
No, he's born in 58.
Oh boy,
he's fucking 25 years old,
this
man.
Is terrible.
He's, you know, so they said that was and it was a quick moving Alzheimer's too. It wasn't slow. Everybody said, his friend said he was completely devastated by this. You know, it was his only parent. Yeah, that's absolutely. Tony Gwynn said, quote, when his mom kind of lost it, that's when he started to lose it. When his mom kind of lost it.
You heartless
She could have said when his mom got ill or when his mom was diagnosed.
When his mom got worse.
You know, when his mom started getting like loopy and like pissing her pants and shit, that's when he started getting kind of fucking annoying. I don't know. He was kind of... he's like, I don't know, my mom's wandering out shitting herself. You know how it goes, right? When that happened, he got a little pissy.
When his mom forgot his name, that's when he remembered cocaine.
He said, oh, my name is cocaine. So, he said that's when he started to lose it. His mom was so proud of his accomplishments. She was kind of like his life support system that started his whole slide. Yeah. So, this is not good. A teammate or a friend of his, one of his old friends, said, I hate to say it, but it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I remember seeing her and she was so proud. Alan had made it, but she wasn't herself anymore. Now, Alan couldn't buy her a big, beautiful house like he planned or a nice car because what was she going to do with it with Alzheimer's disease?
Yeah, I don't know.
She wouldn't even fucking know where to go.
Spend that money on a nice place for her to go.
Yeah, or some people to, a nice nurse or something.
A nice nursing home. Or build a fucking house and hire the nurse.
Absolutely.
Good
so,
Lord.
He's not the most popular player, obviously.
Obviously not.
But he is still voted the Padres' most valuable player for the 1983 season.
Really?
Absolutely, because he gets on base, he does all the little things, and baseball players appreciate that. And even if he's a dick, he's valuable.
Stats Stats matter.
That stats matter. That he sets the table, man. And a leadoff hitter that's willing to do that is, well, it's a big deal, especially if he's putting pressure on a pitcher too. He's helping the second guy, he helps the third guy.
He takes a few pitches extra.
Yeah.
That gets into the second guy. If he takes a few extra, by the time the cleanup guy comes, that pitcher's pitched way too many pitches.
He's pitched a lot of pitches. There's somebody on base. He's distracted by that. Now he's got to throw fastballs to keep Wiggins on base, which lets your power guy crack home runs. So
points on the board.
So runs.
Whatever.
84 Padres. They finished 92 and 70, and this team goes all the way to the World Series.
Really?
This is the team. Yeah, this is Cubs fans are like, yeah, I know, motherfucker. They played the Cubs in the NLCS, and the Cubs were about to win it, and this is the Leon Durham ball goes through his legs. This is Buckner before Buckner.
Oh, no.
2 years before Buckner, exact same thing happened where all Durham had to do was catch this ball and make it out, and the Cubs are going to the World Series in 84. Instead, it goes through his legs, and the Padres end up winning the series.
And they wait till 2015?
Yeah, and they wait 17. They wait till 2017 to go back. So, tough luck, guys. Bad stuff.
Oh, that stings.
So 84, but this year though the Padres they lose the World Series to the Tigers 4-1. Kirk Gibson hit a big home run here too, so that's a clutch guy there. Now the way this works out, this team has Steve Garvey on it now, Gary Templeton, Greg Nettles, the ex-Yankee sluggers on this team. So Tony Gwynn's a starter. This is a stacked team here.
Yeah.
This isn't bad at all. Also, July 19th, 1984, middle of the season, he has a son. A son is born.
Goddamn Wiggins Jr.
Alan Jr.
Yeah.
You fucking know it's coming. Alan Wiggins Jr.
Couldn't wait for a baby with a dick
He's
on
like,
it.
I gotta fuck this up. I'm gonna mess this kid up if I can. I'll fuck them all up, damn it. Don't give a shit. So this year, though, 158 games he plays in. He hits 258. He steals 70 bases, and he's a real catalyst for this team. He only hits 3 home runs, 7 triples, though, which is pretty damn good. And in the postseason, in the NLCS, he hits 316, and in the World Series, he hits 364.
My word.
I mean, he's doing his part.
Yeah.
He's doing all he can. He's fucking cranking. So
he wants a ring.
Yeah, that's it. And he's so valuable to the team. Their manager, Dick Williams, says, quote, I don't care what anybody says. Alan Wiggins was absolutely the most valuable player in the National League in 1984.
How about that?
Not on the team, in the National League.
He wants the NL MVP for him.
Yeah, that's how, I mean, as a manager, you know it's valuable.
Yeah.
And, his stats, 258, isn't going to do it. But fucking, if you're the manager, you know it's valuable.
Right.
This is the guy that set our table for us and did everything. He plays full-time second base this year as well. He has 154 hits. 106 runs he scores. And when Wiggins is on base, when Tony Gwynn comes up to bat, because he hits third, Tony Gwynn hit 412 when Wiggins is on base.
Is that right?
Because it gets him fastballs.
How about that?
If you throw Tony Gwynn a fastball, he's gonna
it's going yard.
He's gonna slip. He's gonna slap it in slap a single back at you. No problem. Just the way he is. Now, 1985 comes around. Before the 1985 season, the Padres want to reward Alan for since he's got busted. It's been 3 years, and he's been a hard-working guy.
Sure.
Valuable to them. They sign him to a 4-year contract worth $3 million.
Wow.
Which in 85 was a
lot of money.
fucking enormous deal. He was one of the highest paid players in baseball.
That's awesome.
The highest paid second baseman by a long shot. So doing very well here. It's guaranteed money through 1988. So he had filed for arbitration because he was a restricted free agent, and the Padres said, you know what, let's not do it. Let's just sign him, lock him up. That's how much they wanted to reward him. His agent said, quote, Allen is one of the highest paid second basemen in the National League. And Wiggins himself says this proves that they're willing to pay the price for a winner, and we have a winner in San Diego. The type of organization that we have in San Diego is like family.
How about this?
Keep that in mind in a couple minutes. Jesus Christ.
I'm impressed.
Padres general manager said he established himself as an outstanding second baseman last season while providing the offensive spark to ignite our club. We look forward to his efforts leading the Padres winning in the future. Also, his agent, what's his name? Atanasio is his agent. He said he was confident that they're that he's going to play this out and get an even better deal next time. Wiggins is free to renegotiate the contract 1 year after he qualifies for free agency. So that's after the 87 season, which his agent said we didn't want the contract to go much beyond his free agency year. They're looking at playing out this contract for $3 million, and then
the big cash grab.
87 is going to be the cash in money. We're going to fucking be
crushing it.
Big Ricky Henderson
retirement money.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is here. He said they wanted him to be free to sell his services to the highest bidder. And he said, but his agent also said, quote, if he decided to retire after 4 years, he wouldn't have to work another day in his life. And that's without making investments.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck he was socking it away. But either way, grace.
Yeah.
Grace. Can we say that?
That is big words, though, because today, $3 million,
you're going to blow through that
in your 20s,
quick.
it ain't happening.
Good luck.
You ain't retiring for shit with that.
No. Back then, I guess that's probably...
Just sticking it in the bank and living off of it?
I mean,
no way.
That'd probably be like $7-8 million now. You could live off that. You could do just fine.
Yeah, you could.
Normal people, regular people aren't making $8 million in their life. And they're going to live. So you could do it.
You spend $50,000 a year about probably.
You couldn't live like you did when you were an MLB player.
No.
Like you couldn't buy Rolls Royces and shit. But if you
buy
want
a new caddy every year,
if you wanted to move into a 1,600 square foot 3-bedroom house,
done deal,
and drive a Chevy Cavalier,
crushing it,
you could live forever on that. You'd be fine.
Maybe a Cobalt.
No, there you go. I mean, you might be able to up it a little bit. At least get the upgraded stereo package. So that's grace for him. The 85 season comes around, and he's got a fresh new contract, and he's got a junior.
Oh, yeah.
He's married. Everything's going well. They expect him to be, they thought their manager said he's the most valuable player in the league to him. April 25th, 1985, Alan just doesn't show up for a game.
What?
He just doesn't show up. He no calls, no shows. Like he works at a fucking,
to the majors.
Like he works at a pizza place or something. He just no call, no show to the major leagues.
He Quizno'd the Padres.
He just did it. Fuck him. Fuck him. Not coming in today, everybody.
How do you do that?
No call, no show. Just he quit like a roofer would quit his job. That's how he did it. Just doesn't show up for a game against the Dodgers. Just weird. So Flannery, the teammate, said, quote, I'll never forget that day as long as I live. I'm taking infield, and Dick Williams comes to me about 25 minutes before game time and said, quote, get ready because you're going to be playing tonight, and you're going to be playing a long time because the other guy, that's what he called him, didn't show up.
He called him the other
guy didn't show up. And this guy said, quote, that's the last time most of us ever saw him.
What?
So, he just never showed up. One day he was fine. Next day, never showed up again.
And
he just
how do you
ghosted.
Do that?
He never showed up. The Padres called the police because they didn't know what the fuck was wrong with him. This is not normal.
Yeah.
This isn't like I said. If you don't show up for your shift at McDonald's, they just go, I don't know, Tim quit.
Right.
Fuck him, I guess. I don't know. See if he shows up tomorrow.
He probably won't be here tomorrow.
But if a baseball player doesn't show up, you're like, is he dead?
He's contracted to be there.
Did someone kill him? Is he like bloody in his house? I mean, you literally start thinking the worst. So
he's got $3 million.
Who knows? They call the police, and the next day he's missing for over 36 hours.
Oh my!
Gone. No one can find him. Completely under the radar. His wife doesn't know where he is. Just disappeared. Can't find anything about him. And then the next day, later on that evening, when he was supposed to be at a game, he emerges and pops up and immediately checks himself into a rehab center.
Oh no!
Because there are conflicting reports over whether he was arrested in that 36 hours for cocaine possession and not. So I'm not sure which it is. If it ended up getting kind of pushed out of the press radar.
Yes, right.
But he was on a bender either way, and he ended up checking himself directly into rehab for there. And the Padres said, no more with this shit. Yeah. They literally said, he's done. Immediately they said, he's never going to play for us again. Done. We're done with him. Fucking done. Well, they can't cut him because they owe him $4 million. Right. So they got to try to trade him or something. Right. Or $3 million they owe him. So they said that the Padre owner said, which was Joan Kroc, Ray's wife there. She said that Wiggins wasn't coming back. There's nothing that he or his agent can do to persuade them otherwise. His agent, Atanasio, said, it still bothers me to this day. The problem in San Diego should have been taken care of from the start. It was not a matter of baseball. It was a matter of life. A human being was in trouble. They didn't even listen. I said, what if the doctor says he not only can play but must play to preserve his life? That's what they said. Like, what if he has to play or else he's going to die out there? And he says, do you know what Croc's response was? I said, and he said, quote, she gave me the same response. She just said tough shit, basically.
He's not playing either.
Didn't care. Yeah. So also a Padre, the president of the Padres at the time, said, we knew after that happened he'd never play for us again. While some people looked at what we did as somewhat cruel, every doctor I've talked to in the field told me that the last thing drug addicts will do is hold on to their job. If you force them to live up to their responsibilities, you can be a catalyst. We had to do what we thought was right. So they said what they were doing was a favor for him to, as we'll find out. I don't know how that worked out.
Wiggins.
We care, so go away and never talk to us again.
You're fired.
Yeah. We care, so go away. We don't like you. So he didn't show. This is fucking crazy, man. They just conducted a team meeting and said basically Alan's done. Alan's out. That was that. And tough shit. So the Padres said, quote, to my knowledge, no one has spoken to him since sometime yesterday. That was while he was missing. We're just hoping we hear something when we get to the ballpark tonight. I really wish I could say more about the matter. We've checked with the police department. We've checked with all the hospitals. We tried to call his home. And we know his clothes are in his hotel room here. That's all we know. That's it. I haven't seen him. I really don't know at this time what the club will do. We'll have to find out the whole story. And they did. So they said finally that someone saw him. This was the day he went missing. Yeah. Steve Garvey said someone said they saw Alan at 3:30 or 4 o'clock. I hope everything is all right with him. We all do. Then Tony Gwynn said, I'm just like everybody else. I'm a little worried about him. I just want to know he's all right. So that's kind of how it was. Just everybody. He was just this missing guy.
Everybody's worried.
So it's at this point that Peter Ueberroth, who is now in charge of baseball, he has decided that he is going to take a fucking hard line stance on drugs.
Really?
Okay. By the way, it comes out here during this whole thing that Wiggins is also under federal investigation.
Oh no!
For a big time drug thing that's going on. It's the big Pittsburgh drug thing. Now we've talked about it here and there. We'll do one of these days. We'll do a bonus episode on the Pittsburgh cocaine investigation because there's about 20 players from different sports involved in it, and it's a big, crazy, wild thing that we can only touch on in these individual episodes. Otherwise it would be the whole episode. So he's actually under federal investigation for that as well, they find out. So that's not great. So Peter Ueberroth makes this big speech to people, and he says the health of the very few people in baseball that have problems are what he's concerned with. He said he's also concerned with the reputations of players who serve as idols to young people and the danger that gamblers could use players hooked on drugs to fix games. That was a big deal he used to worry about in the 60s.
Yeah.
You get in deep enough to somebody, which nowadays is kind of a moot point because you'd have to do a whole lot of coke to make Tom Brady throw a game. I mean, how much coke would he have to do? The guy's $300 million. You'd really have to have a lot on him.
I don't know, a bunch of keys moving through his particular area of the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And him being involved in it.
Yeah.
It may make him throw some.
There you go.
I don't know if he's involved in it. You know what I mean?
He's going to cheat. We just don't know if he's going to throw. So
he might deflate a ball or two.
That's right.
Watch some sidelines.
Jesus Christ. So the general counsel for the union said that he cited mutual trust and goodwill between himself and Ueberroth, and said even the umpires now have agreed to get drug tested, but the baseball players don't want it. This is when they were trying to force mandatory drug testing for players, and the players did not want to do it at first. Obviously, the Players Association, they said that they accused the league of grandstanding. I guess a few players backed the mandatory testing. One guy, the Phillies, said, let's do it and get the damn drug addicts out of the game.
Oh, my boy.
He said, that's John Wokenfuss. He's just mad about his name.
He's woke.
He's woke as fuck. John woke as fuck. So, Bob Stanley, the Boston pitcher, said, I don't take drugs and I don't believe I have to piss in a bottle to prove I don't. And Dale Murphy, who's a complete teetotaler, he won't even drink soda. I'm not even kidding. I think he's a Mormon. He said, it's assuming a guy is guilty without knowing. I understand there's a problem. We have to try to solve it, but it's that principle that's hard for me to accept.
Check out my hook while the DJ revolves it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it had. I understand there's a problem and we have to try to solve it. So, he said that
huge
he's ahead of his time. No, I stole it from him. This is an 85. Vanilla Ice is a huge Dale Murphy fan.
Got it.
And he stole it. He's like, yo, that Dale Murphy, man, he just had some shit.
He knows what's up.
He just had some shit, man. You know, he just dropped some knowledge. Another thing the commissioner was pissed off about, in a speech, he said he's extra pissed off because Alan Wiggins had just done a TV spot that just aired right before this happened for Major League Baseball Productions, warning kids about the dangers of drugs.
He just did
that.
Oh,
so,
hypocrisy.
Uberoth here, he was pissed. He said that pissed him off. And then for some reason he said, fuck Eddie House, which I thought was uncalled for. It was uncalled for. Eddie House was probably 7 years old at this point. So really not cool.
Just a kid.
He's just like, fuck him. Brick throwing motherfucker. I was like, wow, dude, chill out. So he enters his second stint in drug rehab here on April 27th, 1985. And it's not good. The Padres say they're done. And the agent here, Tony Atanasio, he keeps saying that, like, he's trying to be like, the Padres said that they're done with him, but, let's see what happens. Maybe he'll be back. And the Padres just will not even entertain the thought that he might ever be back again. Ever. That's it. Now he said, the agent said that Wiggins, Alan told him he'd be ready to play within 30 days. He said, I'll be ready to play the second I get out of here. The agent said that's his feeling based on some conversations we've had, but I haven't spoken to anyone other than Alan about this there. And, basically he would have to, because the 82 arrest was before the new drug policy, he would be eligible to come right back because he's a first-time offender in baseball, technically. So he could do that. But the Padres were firm that he wouldn't play for them. They said, quote, Alan must devote all of his energies to his recovery. He can best do that without the pressures of Major League Baseball. Which, that's probably correct, but... I don't know. He also said, when they were talking about him not showing up, they were so surprised. The president said, I thought he'd been in an accident. I never even thought about drugs. I talked to Alan for 45 minutes the day before and he seemed fine. That's crazy. To go from that to fuck my life, fuck my job.
I don't care about any of it.
I don't care about any of it to pull like a full Stanley Wilson.
Right.
I'm just running away, climbing out the window is fucking bonkers. They said that he seemed fine. When he disappeared, I called the Players Association, but I was told I should not talk to Alan and that they would handle it. It's like kind of legal shit at that. The reason we came out so early in saying Alan would never play for the Padres again was so that Alan would know it and so that the team would know it. I've had strong support from the other players. Even some of Alan's friends were disappointed that he hadn't told them or me about his problem. But as much as anything else, Alan let his fans down.
Yeah.
Oh boy, he's getting... Jesus Christ. Wow. They said the Padres have clearly in the past demonstrated tremendous loyalty to their players and themselves. And he said that, they said Wiggins, though, the agent said that Wiggins is very disappointed. He said he loves San Diego and he loves playing here. I don't think he quite understands the feelings of everyone on the Padres side. So he's like, what's the big fucking deal? So I didn't show up a little bit. So under the baseball drugs thing here, he'll be paid his regular salary for the first 30 days of rehab. If he needs further rehab, he'll receive half his regular salary for the next 30 days. If he's still undergoing treatment after that, he'd be paid the baseball minimum salary for the rest of that time, which at that time, you know how much it was, Jimmy?
60 grand?
40 grand a year.
Oh my word.
40 grand a year.
Ouch.
When you were a child, there was guys on television playing Major League Baseball making $40,000 a year. Think about that.
Unbelievable.
Think about that. Making like what normal people that's what Major League, and that was a little more back then, but it still wasn't wealthy.
It's still driving a Corolla to the stadium.
Yeah, 40 grand in 85 was not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. So
unreal.
Yeah, so June 27th, 1985. He's done his rehab and he's done this is 30 days after he's done out of rehab. He's traded by the Padres.
Yeah.
They don't want him anymore, but the Orioles sure will take him.
Oh, my God, the other side of the country.
Going to Baltimore. Yeah, no more Southern California here. He's traded for a player to be named later and Roy Lee Jackson.
Yeah.
The Orioles, they send him there. The Orioles send Rich Caldwell to the Padres to complete the trade. Yeah. People are going to Alan. They say, well, it's a fresh start for you.
Sure is.
He says, well, quote, there's no such thing as a fresh start, especially not with this thing called the media. Baltimore's a new place, a different place, but I'm still the same person I always was. The successes and failures of the past are always with you.
Yeah.
Any other positive fucking... Anything else bright and cheery you want to toss up at me that I could slap to the ground like a fucking badminton birdie? Anything?
How much can I tell you how fucking awful everything is?
Spike it back in your face? So, he keeps bringing it up, though. He says, quote, I'm a little nervous. Who wouldn't be? It'd be different if I was just coming in here to play, but there's public relations and a lot of other things involved here. And Earl Weaver, who, we've mentioned it several times, but if you have never listened to it, listen to Earl Weaver. It's on YouTube, the audio of the Earl Weaver radio show, where he's the manager of the Orioles, and he's a famous lunatic.
He holds nothing back.
He holds nothing back, and it was after a loss, and he's contracted to do this fucking radio show after every show, and he has just had it. He did not want to do it that day, clearly, and they made him do it anyway, and he's in a perfectly calm tone, like he's telling anybody else. Somebody will be like, it's Rose from, something Maryland says, how do you do something with your rose bushes? Because he's famous for having rose bushes. He goes, I think Rose should worry about her. I think Margaret should worry a little bit less about her rose bushes and a little bit more about where her next lay is coming from. I'll tell you that much right fucking now. These fucking people over here. Then okay, next question, Earl. Yeah. He goes, well, why do you keep this guy on the bench instead of starting him? He goes, that guy's lucky he has a fucking job. So you say, he goes, sits on the end of the fucking bench holding it down for the end of the show, maybe get one goddamn swing in and accomplish something, but that guy's lucky he's on a fucking roster. I'm just like, this is amazing. And then at the end of it, he's like, all right, fuck you, thanks a lot, have a good one. And he just fucking walks out. Listen to it. It's wonderful.
He's an angry little man.
He's an angry little man. For a long time, he had the record for most ejections for a baseball manager. I think Bobby Cox finally broke it, the Braves manager, because he was around forever.
I've seen I think it may have been, it had to be Majors, where he's chasing an ump around the fucking diamond, just screaming in his ear.
Billy Martin, Earl Weaver, any of those. Billy Martin and Earl Weaver are very similar. Lou Piniella was from that school, too. Lou Pinella's a little bit bigger, so he's like a little frightening. At least Billy and Earl are both tiny. The umps are like, get out of here, you little shit.
Right.
So
he's telling the ump how many wins he's got, and the ump's got how many World Series, Earl?
Yeah, how many? That's so great. So Earl Weaver says, quote, we're hoping he does the things for us that he did for San Diego last year. The stats he compiled there would be helpful to this club and to our needs. We think he can help us win some games. We hope he can help us win the pennant, but we won't know until the end of the season. Fair. He says, Wiggins says, I don't feel I'm a franchise. I'm coming to a team already loaded with talent. I'm not going to knock in 100 runs, but I might score 100 given a full season. With the type of hitters they have, all I have to do is get on base. True. But he only has 2 hits in his first 16 at-bats there because he had a little bit of an injury, so he was in the minors. That's what he does in the minors, but Baltimore calls him up, and he does his thing. He said, quote, I'm not quite 100%, but I'm close enough. My timing is good and my arm is strong. My legs are loose and limber, but they still don't have the drive yet. He's got to get back into the groove. So finally, July of 85, he comes to the Orioles, and the fans dug him because they don't give a shit. You get a new guy if he's not doing coke right now. Right. He's hitting well. Great. Good for you. Fuck. In 76 games, he hits 285 and steals 30 bases there for 85 in Baltimore, which isn't bad. But after a little while, people start to not like him there. He stops running out ground balls.
Oh, no.
Stops hustling. Stops,
trying.
Stops playing the field as hard as he did before. The balls get by him at second that he should have put a little bit more effort into. He won't talk to the press anymore, stops talking to the coaching staff, eventually doesn't even talk to his teammates anymore. Just literally becomes a complete loner. The 85 Orioles go 83 and 78. This is Eddie Murray, fucking Cal Ripken Jr., Fred Lynn, Lee Lacy, Larry Sheets. This is a a lot of fucking bangers on this team, good bats on this team, and also on this team, Sammy Stewart, who we remember from an episode we had.
Really?
Yeah, he was a crackhead. He was a, quote, first-class crack smoker.
Got it.
As he described himself. That's Sammy Stewart there. So these two guys are on the same team, which is frightening.
Perfect.
Thank fuck they don't hang out, put it that way. So yeah, he has a good season, except for being a recluse and spending he just hangs out in his hotel room. That's what he does. They say he's a loner in the clubhouse. His family is still on the West Coast too. His wife and his 2 kids are still in the West Coast. So that's not good for him either. They had a house out there. They just stayed there. They didn't want to move to Baltimore from San Diego, which understandable. I get it.
Don't you want a white Christmas?
Come on. What do you want here? Do you want to live through the crack epidemic in Baltimore where you could really see it from the front lines?
Yeah.
You want to see it? So, Wiggins said, quote, the fans didn't see the true me. They saw a guy who didn't hustle, who dogged it down the line. They didn't see a guy thrown into a strange city without his family. So he's saying it was depression that did all that. He said, I'm not that type of player, and I've never been that type of player. I made errors, but I made them because my concentration wasn't there. I was depressed, and playing that way was my way of expressing it. Fair.
Well,
I get it, but a lot of guys don't live around their families. You still got to play better.
You're also paid not to let that affect you.
Yeah, you better talk to him on the phone before the game, get your head out of your ass, and get out there, because that's crazy. They said that he eventually they would move into a house in a suburb of Baltimore that he bought for his family, but otherwise he would spend his off hours. He had a North Baltimore townhouse, and they said he would sit in front of the TV and eat Twinkies. Constantly. Just eat Twinkies. Right. They said he'd go days without talking to some of his teammates sometimes, talking to any of them. He just wouldn't talk to anybody. He was just miserable, and which makes no sense. He should be thrilled he's back in the league, but he's not. He said, quote, I was depressed. I couldn't accept the fact that I was away from my family. My wife had just given birth to our son, Alan Jr., and I wanted to be with them. It was a hard time. Plus, they're worried about drugs. Is he doing drugs? Is that what the problem is? So they just kind of ignore him and hope that nothing will, come up to the surface. Yeah. One of those things. They're basically, there's some clanging in the engine, and we're going to ignore it and hope it goes away. That's what it is here. So part of the stipulation, though, of the trade when they got Wiggins was that he had to undergo testing for drugs 3, 4, or even 5 times a week, however much it came up. And Earl Weaver, the manager, said, as many times as we've tested him, Alan Wiggins has to be the cleanest guy in the major leagues. His attitude is no longer a problem. He has all the skills to be a great player in this league. So Earl's trying to push it under. By the way, he makes $512,000 for 1985.
Not bad.
Which is better than $40,000. He said his family, though, people that know him well, said that he would just scoff at rehab. He thought it was a joke. They said that it wasn't going to do anything for him. They said he became very defiant about it. They, it's basically he thought that was admitting defeat, like that he couldn't do it himself and shit like that. He thought rehab was a way for people to try to control him. And in his mind, he thought the league controlled you enough, is the way he put it. Everything's fucking control. They're not going to control me here too. And he had that sort of, mentality, which I understand. I get it. He said the 86 season comes around though, and he's ready to have a fresh start. He said, it's my job to get on base and score runs, and that's what I plan on doing. With guys like Lee Lacy, Cal Ripken, Eddie Murray, Fred Lynn batting behind me, it can turn out to be a special season. I feel good about myself. I feel good about our chances. I'll try to stay healthy. I've got to believe there's good times ahead. Obviously. Yeah. How do you feel about Jimmie?
Oh, so many good times.
Good times, right? Well, they're 73 and 89 this season, so that's not that great.
That's 89 bad times.
That's bad. Wiggins was, again, not living up to his potential. Earl Weaver ordered him to take extra grounders in the spring.
Ouch.
And he thought that was stupid because he said grounders hit from a fungo bat and an actual ground ball getting smoked at you from a hitter aren't the same thing, and it's just stupid to practice. So, he would get in trouble with Earl Weaver. Then in 86, he has a problem. He strikes out, and he threw his bat into the dugout, and it hit Cal Ripken Jr. So he fucking hit Cal Ripken there, and Cal Ripken said that if he ever did that again, he would, quote, break your fucking back. So he got threatened with a curse from Cal Ripken.
Not your bat, your fucking
Your
back.
fucking back, he said. Yeah, I will break your fucking back. Apparently, people just didn't like him. Whenever anybody would ask about him, like, is he a good teammate? They get a lot of no comments.
Yeah.
Which is basically saying, he sucks.
I don't like him at all.
Yeah, that's it. One player who wouldn't give his name said, quote, "I've tried everything with him, man. I give up. He's just a dick. I just don't like him." He also, during the season, got picked off with the hidden ball trick.
Oh, no.
Which
The rosin bag?
You're clearly not paying attention.
Yeah.
Or the first baseman.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't pay attention.
A little meeting at the mound.
Yep. Got tricked.
He comes back with the ball.
Yep. Tags him out.
Oh, boy.
The next day, he made 3 throwing errors. 2 of them in the 8th inning of a close game.
Oh, you asshole.
Yeah, not terrific here. Bad stuff.
3 errors in one game?
Yeah, and two of them late inning errors after he got picked off the day before. So people were pissed. He said people were booing him very bad, and that sort of shit, and he was getting mad. He said, quote, "I have my family in the stands and it's humiliating. I've done everything they've asked of me here. I've taken 60 drug tests and come up clean on every one. I'm hitting 285, which he was hitting 265 at the time, so whatever. And I'm producing. I didn't ask to come to the great Baltimore Orioles. They wanted me. If they don't want me, then they should do something about it."
Oh, he's asking to leave.
Fucking get rid of me if you don't like me. He's mad at the fans.
He loudly wants out.
Yeah, they did something on the scoreboard where after he got all the errors, where it was a nightly Baltimore scoreboard feature, Who Am I?, where portions of the Orioles, of the player's face are revealed.
Yeah.
And then you guess until it comes out. And it was Wiggins that night. And so everybody fucking booed like crazy. And... because they put it up right after he made 2 errors.
Oh, no.
So he was pissed about that.
Face? Boo!
Boo! Not great at all. One of his teammates said, quote, "I don't blame him for being upset about the picture. The timing was the worst I've seen. But Wiggins has had more chances than anyone who ever wore an Orioles uniform. More than Mike Cuellar, and I gave Cuellar more chances than my first wife." That's what Earl Weaver said. That's great.
My
first wife. Whenever he gets another chance remains to be seen, or whether he gets another chance remains to be seen. This is what I mean. It's more than my first wife.
It's going downhill.
He starts talking to the media a little bit more, and he said that he tells the media that he's only doing it because he was, quote, asked by a couple of individuals in the front office to do it. He said, quote, "I was just tired of answering the same questions over and over, but you can't avoid the media, and they have their job to do. But the media needs the players more than the players need the media. We're not running for office. All I ask is that they're fair and quote me correctly. Still, they'll quote you correctly, then give an opinion on the public, and the public construes that as fact, or at least as generally accepted opinion. And the little things get blown out of proportion." Okay, he says, "It seems like people in America are obsessed with reading about other people's misfortune. Look at the National Enquirer. Who wants to hear about an 8-legged baby? But it's popular. It's the same with baseball. It's always so-and-so tested positive and so-and-so was late."
Give it a little bit.
Yeah.
You're about to see websites.
Where do you see that?
Shit.
Where do you see social media?
Yeah, man.
It is pretty funny, though, that I don't agree with this, that he said that the media needs the players more than the players need the media. Nope, you need each other exactly the right amount. Because if they don't promote you, guess what? Nobody shows
cares.
up to watch you or gives a shit. If there isn't people, if you don't have Skip Bayless and whatever black guy he feels like arguing with that week, yelling at and being wrong to this week, if you don't have those idiots yelling at each other about a game, then their fans don't get jacked up and say, "I'm going to see that game to show Skip Bayless he's a fucking idiot."
Right.
It all feeds into itself. So
you have Colin Cowherd making bullshit predictions.
Yeah, because it's all about it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, see how well sports radio is doing right now.
Right.
Without the sports, not too well,
They
is it, guys?
suck.
Yeah, so they do need that, and vice versa. So, Wiggins says, quote, "Being the leadoff hitter is a little different here than in San Diego because this is a better ball club. We don't usually need to scratch for one run. We can even play, for, even for a while, and we know we'll get our runs." Yeah. Baltimore was a running team, a scrapping team, and Earl Weaver hated that, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, because they said, "Well, how come you don't steal more bases?" That was on the radio show. And Earl Weaver said, oh, yeah, get these little sons of bitches out there on the bases, running around like fucking rabbits, getting picked off and shit. Meanwhile, I'd rather send some big son of a bitch up there to hit it over the goddamn fence and get it over with than one fucking swing. That's great. He said, every run is still important, but we're not as pressed to create situations here because after me and Lee Lacy, you've got 5 guys who are all capable of hitting 25 homers. I still have the green light to steal, but take fewer chances now. That makes sense. Yeah, you don't have to. He had a shitty spring. He hit 193 in the spring, and he continued to hit shitty through April. And Weaver would take him out of the game every once in a while, and that would piss fucking Wiggins off. This year, Weaver said, quote, he got off to a real slow start. Some of his line drives were being caught, sure, but he wasn't getting on base, and there's not much else he can do offensively. If he's not getting on base, there's really no point to him. Wiggins was mad. He thought that he'd been branded because of his drug problems and his attitude, and he says he just expects to be blamed for shit. He says, I went 1 for 9 in the spring and they panicked. All of a sudden, my job was up for grabs. Then we get off to a slow start. The whole team wasn't playing well, and my lack of production was magnified. I took the brunt of it like it was all my fault. So Earl sat me down, but that's okay. I wasn't getting on, so I couldn't complain. I've been swinging the bat real well all year, though. In fact, I thought I was swinging the bat a little better in April, but now I'm getting some cheap hits and the line drives are falling in. Even when you hit the ball hard, you've only got around a 50-50 chance of getting a hit. It takes talent, but it helps to be lucky, which is true. I mean, a seeing eye single is called that for a reason. So this year, he plays in 71 games for the Orioles, hits .251, only has 21 steals because they're not letting him steal as much. February 14th, 87, though, before the season, he has another daughter.
Oh, shit.
Daughter Candace is born.
Baby 3.
Baby Trey here, 3 kids. So April 1st, 1987, okay? The team tells Alan that he won't be starting and he's going to be on the bench. I just kind of gave you the overview of the month where they were mad at him and all this shit. This is what happens here. He was doing like shit, whatever. So this is the year Cal Ripken Sr.'s the manager here. Now, Earl Weaver's gone. Cal Ripken Sr.'s the manager. And this particular season, he has a good spring. The last one was for 86. 87, he has a good spring. He hits .413 in the spring. He's doing great. So he says, quote, I've earned a spot on this team. I would think a guy hitting .400 with a .500 on-base percentage would be a starter. Even more, I think he should be guaranteed a job, but he's going to start on the bench instead. They start him on the bench, and he's pissed off about it. And also there, he said he might be like a utility outfielder, which he's mad at, but he thinks he should be not a utility guy. He'll play the outfield, but just every day he wants to play the outfield. So he says, Ripken Sr. said, with a 24-man roster, I'm looking for versatility. If Alan Wiggins can play outfield, infield, and DH, then you're in a position to make a one-player move. I can use him as a pinch runner, then put him in the field, and I've only used one player, which makes sense. But this is getting to something here. Alan says that he's never seen himself as a utility player. He says you need a leadoff hitter who can get on base with a walk, someone who can bunt. You need a guy who can get on base, period. I can fill that bill. He says, quote, I don't know what he's waiting for. I'm a good hitter with good speed, and I think I'm a very good outfielder. I've earned a spot on this team. It's at this point that Doc Gooden gets arrested for coke, and it blows up. Every article is Doc Gooden, and then Alan is the next guy they talk about.
Really?
So no matter what now, everybody's talking about Alan being on coke, even though that was 2 years ago, because they all ask him about Doc Gooden, basically, everybody. So, they ask him about rehabilitation, and he tells the media, it's a necessity. Now, he doesn't believe this, as we know.
Yeah.
He says it's learning about yourself. If they put another label on it, it would drug rehab. It would really sell. Constructive criticism from your peers can help. He says being honest with yourself is the key. It's the same way when a player goes out and gets drunk every night and gets stopped by the cops. They say, you're so-and-so, we'll let you go, and they do nothing. That doesn't do any good. You could kill somebody, but just because you didn't get a ticket doesn't mean you're not an alcoholic. He says, it's naive to believe that if you go over 20, you're on drugs, especially on this level. Professional athletes are the last you'll be able to tell by performance. They've been doing this since they were 8 years old. Guys can go out until 3 o'clock in the morning the night before a day game and go out and get 3 hits or pitch a shutout. They rest a couple of nights and then they can get it back. It has no bearing on performance whatsoever, which is true. David Wells was hungover as fuck when he pitched a perfect game at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So he's pissed. He wants a starting job. Yeah. None of it makes fucking sense, and it doesn't make sense. But the only thing that makes less sense about this, Jimmy, is the sales.
Oh, boy.
Oh, the sales. If you happen to be in Baltimore in April of 1987, we have some sales for you. First off, head on down to the Cal Ripken baseball camp.
Yes.
Learn to play baseball the Oriole way.
How much?
This is in June. There's discounts for day and overnight campers. Staff includes Oriole manager, coaches, and players, plus scouts and college coaches, video analysis and personalized videos. Attend Oriole and Hagerstown Suns games. And it doesn't say how much money
overnight campers.
Overnight
Stay
campers.
here because fucking Cal sure won't be.
Cal's going to diddle you.
He's going home.
He's going home. Also, head on down to the Ford dealership down there where they have a Ford Escort. Here for $8,825. You can get one of those mid-'80s weird Mustangs that were like 4-cylinder shit boxes for $95.80.
A hard top.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It's one of those coupes, those little weird 80s ones.
Garbage.
The Ford Tempo here I have for $10,713.
It is more than the Mustang.
More than that. You can get yourself a Bronco, an OJ Bronco for $13,152, or a 4x4 Suzuki Samurai for only $69.95.
$69.95.
That's it, because you're going to roll it over outside anyway. And then when you're done there, take your new car and head on down to Lionel Kitty City. For your toys here. I found they have a great, they say it's a great starter computer for home or business use. It features 65K of memory.
Okay. James, this is Kitty City is a computer store?
Toy store.
Oh.
Kitty City.
Oh, K-I-D-D-I-E. Got it.
This is 65K of memory.
What is that?
Nothing.
It's like my phone book on my phone.
Not even. $89.97 for that, so it's cheap. You can get an Atari printer here. These are Atari computers, by the way. A printer from Atari here for $139. Get yourself a nice Huffy 20-inch bike. Boys, $54.99. Not bad there. Get yourself an Atari 7800 video game system. $79.97 for that, for the whole system. Very cheap. No one was buying that.
That seems expensive.
Laser tag setup. The old school. Remember the commercials?
Oh, it was so
in
much
the
fun.
80s for the laser tag?
I loved it.
Fuck yeah. $39.84 on sale for.
It's expensive.
Fuck, man. That sounds great. Scores hits up to 100 feet away.
Yeah.
That's for one gun and one sensor. So it's $40 per kid to play.
Oh, Jesus. It's not even for 2 kids?
Nope. 2 kids. Fuck off. Here's one. Enjoy. Teddy Ruxpin is on sale. $49.97 for Teddy Ruxpin.
Teddy was $50.
$50. That's a lot of technology. Teddy had a tape player in him, which in 87 cost you money.
That seems like a lot.
Which I've said it before. My little brother Eric, I would put my Wu-Tang tape in it, and Teddy Ruxpin would try to keep up. Eric would be pissed at me.
No.
Oh, he would try. Old Dirty couldn't just keep up with him. Just couldn't work. And finally, a talking cricket doll.
Yeah.
This big, weird doll.
It's a girl named Cricket.
Cricket. $79.97. Oh, and by the way, get some pound puppies for $14.97 each.
Oh, those were amazing.
Take those.
I miss those.
The sales, guys, if you happen to be there. So the 87 Orioles suck anyway. They're 67-95. Basically, the fans hate him. The teammates hate him. His agent here, Atanasio, his silver-haired middle-aged white man, said, quote, "It was abysmal. Players would stand in an area. Alan would walk over and guys would disperse and leave Alan standing alone." Oh, wow. He'd walk over to another group and they'd leave. When he was on the road, he was alone. When he was at home, he was alone. It manifested itself into a lot of disappointment and a lot of misunderstanding. The guys didn't even know he was married. They didn't even know he had kids, and they didn't care. He was unmercifully depressed. They turned their backs and pushed him aside in San Diego, and now he was going to Baltimore, replacing Rich Dower, who was one of the close-knit guys on the team. Wow. They're thinking, here comes this black militant kid, and he's trying to take one of our guys' place. They never forgave him for that, and he was ostracized. Like it's his fucking fault.
Yeah.
He got traded there. So they said also they had been testing him for cocaine every single day, basically. But when they stopped testing, he just started using again. So they tested him for a couple months, and they were like, hey, he's got to be. It's every day. So he was like, cool, I don't have to test anymore?
Right.
Sweet. So finally, in early August, he's suspended for 3 days after a confrontation with a teammate here, and also with his manager, Cal Ripken. And we'll talk about this. During the confrontation, apparently Wiggins cursed at Cal Ripken Sr. and grabbed him by the shirt. You can't do that to your manager. Wiggins said that he only cursed at Ripken, and he only did that after Cal Ripken made a racial slur toward him, which Cal Ripken Sr. denies. It was batting practice. Wiggins was watching, I think it's Jim Dwyer hit, and apparently made a joke about the pitcher was throwing shitty pitches in batting practice, Sammy Snyder. And Dwyer said Wiggins remarked that Snyder should hit Dwyer in the head with the ball. So Dwyer turned around and grabbed Wiggins by the shirt and pushed him up against the batting cage, and Wiggins was heard to say, quote, cool down, JJ. Okay. So then a coach, Elrod Hendricks, separated the two and put a bear hug on Wiggins and fucking carried him off the field because he's smaller. Yeah. So Wiggins said, quote, I was kidding. Dwyer had no right to come up and grab me. Then Elrod, I wasn't the aggressor. I was just trying to get away. Dwyer starts a fight. Cal calls me in and I get suspended. Apparently when he got called in to talk to Cal Ripken, that's when that confrontation happened. They argued in the clubhouse, and reporters were listening near a door that was left open also. Alan says, quote, I've been set up. Don't you yell, sit down, boy, to me. That's what happened, apparently. That's what the reporters were. He said, sit down, boy. Mm-hmm. And he said, don't you yell, sit down, boy, at me. Right. Which, fair. Yeah. You can't call a fucking grown black man boy. Right. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't care if you're the manager and it's just an old baseball thing. Sit down, boy. You don't call a grown black man boy. Right. Just don't do it. It's not okay. You're going to get yelled at for that. Rightfully fucking so.
Commonly known.
It's not it's a known thing not to do. Give me a fucking break. So that was the whole thing. And Ripken said afterwards that Allen grabbed him by the shirt during the argument, which led to an insubordination and a suspension. And Ripken said, I'm not going to tolerate anyone talking to me like that. I'm not going to have anyone grab my shirt like that. I had no recourse but to suspend him. And so Wiggins' agent said, quote, maybe his personality is such that it doesn't blend with the other guys on his team, but management has to be able to mold him and work with him or get rid of him. Don't just keep him around and treat him like shit, basically. So the assistant general counsel for the Players Association said it's rather a petty kind of matter right now that has taken on a life of its own with this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Yes. So September 1st, 1987, baseball commissioner Peter Ueberroth suspends Alan Wiggins for improper behavior, is what he suspends him for. That's all he'll say at the time. No one will give any specifics on why. They use very loose language on purpose, and the Orioles, though, they won't. The guy saying it, the official, won't do it on the record, but he does confirm that it involves a positive cocaine test. Is why they shit-canned him. Not great. So
it's all over.
The Orioles said in a statement that Wiggins was only being suspended for, quote, actions detrimental to the best interest of baseball. Mm-hmm. But, and then the one official said it's fucking coke. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. So they said that the suspension had nothing to do with the previous suspension, except that he was displaying a pattern of erratic behavior, both at the ballpark and away from it. That prompted teammates to encourage the club to increase the number of times he was drug tested.
Oh, no.
Say something's wrong with him. Drug test him more. And apparently the day before he got into this fight with Cal Ripken Sr., he had been thrown out of a bar for having a shouting match, not only with the girl he was with, but several of his teammates that were also in the bar. He tried to start fights with them, and then he turned on the woman he was with, and they had to remove him from the bar.
Who isn't his wife?
So, not his wife at all, just some woman he was with. So, or one of the other guys' girlfriends, or who the fuck knows.
Got it.
Somebody, some chick he was screaming at in a bar to where he had to be removed from it. His behavior's erratic, let's just say here. So I guess they wouldn't release him, though. They said they were hoping to get something out of him. They wanted to trade him or something like that. Baseball, they're talking about the drug policy. Basically, for multiple drug offenses, it's that he would be prevented from returning to the league for 60 to 90 days. And the source here said that they thought Wiggins would fall into this category, and they didn't know what was going to happen. So Wiggins is sent to sit in his fucking place and eat Twinkies. He has no idea what to do with himself.
Yeah.
As who the fuck would. This year, he doesn't have a good year. He hits .232 with only 20 stolen bases. So not a terrific year. He's sitting at home, suspended. But the Twinkies are gross after a while. Have you ever eaten more than like 2 Twinkies? You can't do it.
No, the thing in your mouth, that paste that gets in
no good.
On the roof of your mouth is gross.
It's bad stuff.
You start tasting the banana. You don't when you have a Twinkie, you don't realize that's banana cake.
Have 8 of it, and you're like, what is that?
The second one, you're like, oh, that is
artificial
banana,
weird banana flavor.
Number 3, you're like, oh god, this is starting to get real gross.
He gets hungry, he starts wandering the streets, and he's like, I gotta find something, and he smells something delicious.
Oh boy,
he smells something delicious. He goes, that smells good. I'm gonna have some of that, and he opens it up, and it's the shawarma man, and he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? Why are you here? Why do you do Look, I tell you, listen, guy, I tell you, cocaine, I know.
Yeah.
I shawarma man, he dabbles sometime. I know it's tough, but you have it all. I can do the cocaine. I can give you shawarma still. You go out. You can't. You choke an old man. You can't.
Right.
Hey, you can't do that. You can't. Why you do that? I sit here every day with the shawarma. I say, come on, I make for you. People come in. They say, give me this, give me that shawarma man. I can't tell them, hey, go fuck you. I can't say that.
Right.
I want to say, hey, go fuck your mother. I don't want to make you shawarma, but I can't do. You get out of my store. I've had it. We get out. Sign say closed. Go. You go. And Alan Wiggins is very confused as he's running out the door because the shawarma man's wielding a large knife.
That knife
meat falling off it. It's very
big.
Alan's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's not sharp on the end, but it's long.
I wouldn't have let I'd have let Cal Ripken say whatever he wanted to me if he had that fucking knife in his hand. I'm scared. So finally, September 29th, 1987, he is released by the Orioles. Okay. Can't get anything for him. They release him. He made $762,500 that year.
My God.
So Alan is cast out into nothingness.
Right.
Nobody in baseball wants anything to do with him.
Baseball's done.
He's done. They're done with him. He's not
the end of his career.
You can get busted this constantly if you're Doc Gooden. Right. You can't get busted constantly if you're a guy that has an attitude and people don't like. If you're Alan Wiggins, it isn't going to work. So he starts to study the real estate market.
Oh boy! When
he gets back to San Diego, he would go to the library. He'd look up zoning laws and he'd talk about shit like that. He talked about maybe a baseball comeback. He'd also fish a lot and play some golf here and there.
There you go.
There were some things, but the other problem is he was starting to physically not seem to be himself anymore. Mm-hmm. Because he was having some more drug problems.
Oh, no.
If you take all the testing away, but he's still getting paid, do you think he's not going to do drugs?
Oh, Jesus.
No, he doesn't have to show up for batting practice. I mean, fuck.
He doesn't have Cal Ripken breathing down his throat.
No, they said he started losing weight, but he's always a real skinny guy. He's a 160-pound guy. He's not a big guy at all during his playing days, so nobody really noticed that he was losing weight. He was doing good financial things. Mm-hmm. He bought a home in Rancho... What the fuck? Penasquistos?
Sounds great.
What the fuck that is. For $414,000 in June of 88, which is probably a massive house in June of 88. Place. And sold it in July of the next year for $657,500.
He's making money, James.
So he flipped a house. He made some money. He had $150,000 life insurance with the Players Association, a policy that was there. He talked about his agent. He talked to his agent, made arrangements for his deferred salary, because that was the deal, whereas they would release him, but they still owe him all this money, so they made a deal for deferred salary, which was to be $100,000 a year for the next 7 years. followed by a lump sum of $1 million.
Oh, he's doing great.
So he made $100,000 a year for the next 7, and then in 1994 he would have got $1 million, which, hey, fucking hey, not bad. His agent said he loves his children so much he's going to make sure that they'll always be taken care of. Problem is, while he's doing all this, he also starts to talk to people less and less. His friends don't talk to him so much anymore. It's hard to get a hold of. He doesn't call back. He doesn't do anything. After a while, people say he just sort of went into seclusion almost. He just backed out of everything. He would see his family, but he wouldn't even call his friends anymore or do anything like that. His daughter said that she felt like he thought his life was basically over at that point. She also said at this point his drug problems escalated. Instead of just doing coke, now he started doing heroin.
What?
And he started shooting heroin.
Oh no, it's over.
He started shooting heroin. They said he went back to LA, bought a penthouse apartment downtown, and basically used it as a shooting gallery.
Wow.
He bought a big apartment and a big, beautiful building, and used it to fucking just fire up as much heroin as he wanted. Hanging out with other junkies. I mean, shooting up heroin with other junkies, just hanging out in your penthouse there. His daughter says, quote, I remember visiting him when I was around 3. There was a pink coffee table in his living room, and on top of it was a lot of drug paraphernalia. Something I would definitely identify now as a crack pipe, because his other daughter was born in 87, Candace. He'd already given up. I didn't really put it together that this person was my dad. I was thinking, this is a bad guy. That's my strongest memory of him. Everything else I know comes from my mother, sister, and brother. So this is crazy. Problem was May 1990, and he's fallen apart more and more. May 1990, his father dies.
Oh no!
He was with his family in May when his father died, who he didn't have a good relationship with, but he had tried to have one eventually. He died of cancer, and apparently it was really devastating to Alan because he had no parents now. I guess he and his father had become closer finally over the last 5 years or so. So he didn't have him his whole life, and he finally got him, and now he's gone. So he's very sad. He always took his kids to go see his dad, so he would have a relationship with them. But he was trying to force a relationship with his dad to say, hey, you're going to be nice to my kids.
Right.
So that's nice. He ends up putting one of his houses on the market. He moves to Pasadena. He would stay with friends after a while. He just he put his house up for sale and would kind of wander around, that sort of thing. Problem is here, by the way, his daughter Candace, she's born around that time. She was 3 years old here in 1990. She gets hit by a car and almost loses one of her eyes. She still has a big scar under her left eye, and it's fucking crazy. But she's a good basketball player. When she's in the first grade, she scored 30 points against fourth graders in a basketball game. By the time she was in the 5th grade, she had to play on the boys' team, so it would be competitive. She was just dominating people. So
she's Brittany Griner?
Pretty much, yeah. So November of 1990, Alan is admitted to the hospital for pneumonia. He's got respiratory problems. He's got pneumonia.
COVID.
You know what? That would be preferable because on January 6, 1991, he dies.
Oh, no way!
He dies from complications. They first announced it's complications from pneumonia and lung disease. And you would imagine, oh, wow, yeah, he's got the corona. No, it's AIDS.
No way!
Alan has full-blown AIDS.
What?
He comes out. Doesn't come out at first. The hospital just says respiratory. And then finally, one of his family members comes out and says he's died from complications of AIDS. He's had AIDS the last 3 years.
Yeah.
He got it from sharing needles in his fucking penthouse with people.
Unbelievable.
Bad stuff. He went downhill real fast. I mean, he just started shedding weight and he was horrible because he was still doing drugs too, which I guess isn't.
Yeah, he probably didn't slow down much.
Nope. The psychiatrist in Baltimore that he used, Dr. James McGee, said, quote, he has had some health problems for some time. He knew what was happening. The last few times I talked to to him about 4 months ago were not fun, happy conversations. He was not in good shape and wasn't optimistic. Things were not going well for him. He'd been hospitalized on several occasions and finally admitted on November 29th. They said that he was coughing, had difficulty breathing, and had indication of pneumonia.
What a tragic life, James.
Tragic. Drifted in and out of consciousness during his stay, and finally 37 days later he dies. He's only 32.
Yeah.
He's 30. He should still be playing. He should have still been like this was what he planned to be playing in the middle of a big free agent contract at this time. And the only people there was his wife and his wife's mother were the last people there. They visited him. They tried to make him comfortable, but it was not going well. He had a lot of pain. I guess Angie had to return home with the kids, and that's when he died there. It's bad stuff, man. It sucks. One of his old friends said, I think everybody's asking themselves why and what could we have done to help. I'm still trying to figure out how this happened. His brother said, it's so tough when you see someone going through the pain he was going through and not being able to do anything about it. We always hung on to that hope. We kept praying God would perform a miracle. We held out hope right to the end. And his friend Hollier said that, by the way, when he died, he weighed less than 75 pounds.
Good Lord.
It's insane. He said, his friend Hollier said, I feel like basically he died alone. We all cared about him greatly, but I think he felt embarrassed about what had happened and he shut us out. I mean, as close as we were, none of us even knew he was sick. Yeah. Can you believe that? That's fucking terrible.
He got diagnosed with AIDS before he was 30.
And that was in 80s AIDS. Right. That was scary. That was
vicious AIDS.
And back then, I mean, that was when it was just this crazy thing that was out there.
Nobody understood it.
People didn't know. Yeah, people didn't understand it. This was 2 months and 2 weeks before Magic Johnson's announcement.
Wow.
When he died. Before Magic Johnson, if you don't know what we're talking about, announced he had HIV to the world and fucking made the whole thing a different thing.
Right.
Magic Johnson getting it made the whole thing different. Magic Johnson getting it was like Tom Hanks getting the fucking coronavirus, where people were like, oh shit, that's real?
We have to pay
you're not just like, not only just intravenous drug users or gay dudes banging each other in bathrooms at a club is how people thought about it,
which ironically is what
or Chinese people who live in a village. Not only they can get it, it's everybody can.
That's how Tom Hanks portrayed it in Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. It's the truth. So this is 2 months shy of this announcement, so it's still got the stigma on it is still not.
Oh, it's nasty.
It's nasty.
Yeah.
It's you get it and people are like, ew, you're dirty.
Yeah.
Rather than after Magic got it, people started to go, oh, we can help these people.
A womanizing straight guy can get it too. We're all in trouble.
It's funny when people get empathy when when they can put themselves in it.
See them owning that situation.
Exactly. So
you can't see a Major League Baseball player who washed out of the majors sitting in a penthouse sky high shooting up heroin
with a bunch of junkies.
That's not my life.
That's not me. So think about this. He's got 3 kids.
Yeah.
10, 7, and 3 are his children at this point.
Babies.
His wife that he's known since junior high. Think about this. Think about if you're these fucking kids. Even if you're the 10-year-old, not only did your dad die, but your dad died of something that has a nasty stigma about it. Everyone's going to look at it.
selfish way.
It's fucking. I mean, I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. I really do, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Alan Wiggins, VP of Wealth Management at Service First Bank in Birmingham, Alabama. Alan Wiggins, Director of Regulatory Affairs at ConocoPhillips Company in Katy, Texas. ConocoPhillips. Yeah. Alan Wiggins, assistant professor at the University of Michigan, Dearborn here. And Alan Wiggins, RN ICU nurse at Kern Medical in Bakersfield, California. So there's that. Now, the reaction to this is obviously a lot of sadness. Tony Gwynn says, quote, he died at 32. My goodness. Then he said, you talk about a catalyst. It seemed like every time I came up, Wiggy was on base. He was Mr. Excitement. He made things happen. He started out playing center field and left field and then did a great job when he moved to second base. So there's that. Another guy here said, quote, Wiggy was controversial. He always bucked the system. I guess rebel is the right word for him. He'd say something and 22 of the 25 guys in the ball club would disagree, but this is a terrible loss for everybody. It's a weird thing to say. Yeah. Nobody really liked him, but we're still sad.
22 or 25 could give a shit, but the other 3, they They'll be on the side of the casket.
No shit. Tony Gwynn said he should still be playing, but he was never the same after he left San Diego. He left and we waited 5 years to get another leadoff man. Gwynn said he lived near Wiggins, actually, but hadn't seen him at all there before, doesn't see him around, never saw him. He said the last time he saw him, quote, he was in good spirits, but he didn't look like himself. He looked like he hadn't eaten in several days. He told me he was doing a lot of fishing at Lake Poway.
Yeah, it's called AIDS, Tony.
Yeah, it's called AIDS and heroin also. Take your pick which one's going to make you look worse. I asked him if he missed baseball. He said he did in some ways, but not in others. He seemed content. He had his son with him. So Larry Lucchino, who's the Orioles president, said he was a person and a player of enormous potential who showed that for only fleeting moments. Jesus, when somebody died. It's sad to see a young man and an athlete die at that age. It's stunning. Frank Robinson, the legendary Hall of Famer, he said, naturally, death always catches you by surprise, especially at such a young age when you haven't heard about them being sick. I have tremendous sympathy for his family. Coach Elrod Hendricks, who had to take him away in a bear hug, he said he was a very intelligent young man. Too bad he had the problem with drugs. I've heard so many times the mind is a terrible thing to waste, and this is a classic case. So, a pitcher that played with him said what happened with the drugs and stuff like that kind of ruined his life. He was sort of a loner, a different sort of player. He had a lot of problems in his life, and he came to Baltimore on a bad note. Then Lucchino, the other guy, said, quote, we gave him a second chance, a third chance, whatever you want to call it. Ed Williams, the team's owner, gave him an opportunity to resurrect and rehabilitate. He got a good deal of professional support and attention. Not our fault.
Yeah.
Not us.
We didn't do it.
Hey, what color is my hair? Give me a fucking break here. Yeah. So the others, the team psychologist said that he got as much special care as anyone could get. He had some ability, but when he started getting into the drug problem, the ability dwindled every year. Jesus Christ, people are...
I don't think that's the point, you guys.
Yeah. Gary Templeton, the shortstop, he said that he called himself probably Wiggins' closest friend, and he didn't even know he was sick. Mm-hmm. He said that's all it was. So he said that's how he is. The last time I talked to him, he said Wiggins told me he was getting into computers after he retired. He said I was really happy for him because it seemed like he was getting his life back together. He just had a few problems he could never straighten out. I hope he's at rest now. And Jack McKeon, it was a World Series champion manager and was the GM of the Padres. He said, I don't know what his problem was. He was a good kid, real shy and quiet, but once he had the drug problem, everything turned on him. I was hoping he'd turn himself around. I would say so.
I don't know what his problem is.
I don't know what his fucking problem is.
Fucking addiction and stuff.
I don't know. It's just like these things.
Fucking guy.
I don't know. I think he was hanging out with Eddie House. That was the problem. It's a goddamn issue. So at the funeral, his wife of 9 years there, Angie, she was there, and she asked if Lee Lacy was there, who's a former Baltimore teammate, and Lee Lacy raised his hand, and she said, Alan loved Lee Lacy. I believe Lee Lacy's not in Baltimore today because he stuck up for Alan. They were dogging him with the Orioles, and Lee Lacy stuck by him when a lot of others wouldn't. That's when I guess his brother, Alan's brother, kind of said, hey, relax. Let's not be...
Come on down here. Come on off the stage.
Let's not be crazy.
Let's get somebody else up there to talk.
Yeah.
You're clearly engulfed in the...
You know how many players are here?
How many?
2.
Oh, good
That's
Lord.
Disgusting.
Is Lee Lacy here?
Lee
Thank
Lacy,
God
thank
you're here.
fuck. You know who else? The only fucking person who he played with besides Lee Lacy to show up?
Gwynn?
Steve Garvey.
Oh, really?
Steve Garvey. Just thought it was the right thing to do. He's the only member of the 84 Padre team that he was supposed to be the most valuable guy and all that. They didn't give a fuck. That's it.
Unbelievable.
And Lee Lacy was the only guy there. All in all, there were 5 former teammates. The other 3 were his buddies from school. So major league, though.
Wow, those 3 from earlier.
That's it. Those are the only friends there. His agent, Tony Adanazio, said, quote, some friends, huh? Which is great. I remember when he was with the Padres and he was in Minnesota in drug rehabilitation. He'd call me and say, here's my number. Tell the guys to call me. I go to the ballpark and give out the number to a few guys, and you know what? Not once did they ever call him. He was begging for people, and then when they didn't, he would just back away from them. He said, that's what makes me sick now, seeing these guys come out in the paper like they're his friends, and they're not even at the funeral. His friends were at the service. The rest is pseudo, and that bothers me a lot. Fuck yeah, fuck those people. Yeah, I would say so. Another guy said, if you didn't know him, you might get the wrong picture of him. People didn't have the right perception. We see things in the paper about him and say, come on, that's not the Alan we know. Tony Gwynn said, to not like Alan Wiggins is to not know Alan Wiggins. So that's the shit his agent's talking about. It's like, you didn't even fucking like him.
Why weren't you there?
Where were you? You didn't even like the fucking guy there. Another guy said, quote, he could have avoided the bad press. If he told people his life story, people would back off. But he didn't think it was their business, which is true.
It's a valuable, logical thing to say.
In 1985, if he would have said, look, I grew up without a dad and just lost my mother to fucking Alzheimer's disease, and I'm having a hard time with this and this, but they would have went, hey, maybe this guy's got problems. Maybe we should be supportive. But he didn't want to let anybody in.
Came from nothing. I should tell you guys how hard this has been on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how I deal with it? Fucking heroin. That's how.
Jam it right into my vein.
Great. Makes you forget.
Forget it all. That's why people do it, I'm sure.
Gives me temporary Alzheimer's.
Oh, shit. His brother said, quote, he was a guy who had a lot of pride, and that was both an asset and a liability in a lot of ways. He was also very honest and direct. I might not have liked some of the things he was saying, but at least you knew where you stood. And then he said it may have gotten him into trouble at times, but that's Tony. That's his brother, so he calls him Tony.
You mean Alan.
Alan is buried on a hillside at Rose Hills Memorial Park there. Now, the kids, okay, what did they had a hard time here. The kids said that 2 months later, they even said then Magic Johnson comes out and says he's HIV positive, which changed everything.
Are they resentful as fuck?
No, the daughter said, quote, my mom became obsessed with Magic. The following season after he announced his status, she signed us all up for basketball. She said she thought baseball and its racism had destroyed our family. Mom was really upset about AIDS. She wrote she wore a huge scarlet AIDS ribbon. I think for her, Magic Johnson changed the public perception of the disease. She felt like basketball was more accepting. There might be more support for her children. My mother wanted to fulfill the things that she and my dad had talked about before he died, like us going to college. She knew you could play a sport and get in. We all went on basketball scholarships. My sister to NYU, my brother to the University of San Francisco, and me to Stanford.
No kidding.
That's Candace, yeah. Now my brother plays professional ball overseas, and we'll get to that too. He does. So this was a big deal. She said, I started to gain a higher profile in high school. I really wanted our name to be associated with something other than baseball, AIDS, drugs, and tragedy. That's tough.
Yeah.
Those are baseball, AIDS, drugs, and tragedy. I never brought him up. There was no such thing as Alan Wiggins to me. There was so much pain associated with it. I'd wish, why couldn't he have been hit by a truck or something? Wow. Well, that's what a kid would think, though, because they're taking the brunt for it.
I don't know. How did the same thing.
Yeah.
He did an overdose and then hit by his own truck.
His own, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, it fell on him. You'd say AIDS and you'd see the other person's face and immediately your spirit sinks. Now, Alan Jr. turned out to be 6'9" somehow.
My Christ.
No idea. His dad's like 6 feet tall.
Good pick on basketball, Mom.
No clue,
Yeah.
but he grew to 6'9". He played for San Francisco, the college up there, and he ended up playing. He's been playing since 2007 overseas. He played in 2019. He was still playing in Hungary.
He played 12 years of it.
Oh, he's played in France, Romania, the Ukraine, China, France, Belgium, Ukraine, Japan, Turkey, Lithuania, Australia, and Hungary.
He's doing great.
He's averaging, in Hungary last year, he averaged 9.4 points, 5.5 rebounds a game. So he's probably a bench guy.
6'9", he should get more rebounds.
He should get a few more rebounds, yeah. But I mean, 5.5 when you're only averaging 9.4, he might not play that much.
That's a good point.
That's a good point here. So Cassandra went to NYU, so sports weren't her. That was just a way to go to NYU for free, I think. So I don't know what she did later. I'm not sure. But Candace she ended up playing college basketball at Stanford, where she graduated as the all-time leading scorer in Stanford and in Pac-10 women's basketball history. She has played for, in the WNBA, the Minnesota Lynx, Tulsa Shock, Los Angeles Sparks, and New York Liberty, and has played overseas in Spain and Greece. She won WNBA championship in 2011 and was the 6th Woman of the Year in 2008.
We should know that.
Nope. No shit. Don't know shit.
She's one of the best players between 2007 and 2014.
She was great.
And we have no fucking idea.
Goddamn, it tells you how high profile the
WNBA is.
The WNBA is. Yeah. She said that it was hard. It's hard to describe the shame cast on our family during the early 90s. You could say the F word more freely than AIDS. It was really my struggle. It was really my struggle with it. She said that she thought that she came to believe when she was a kid that her father was, quote, evil, terrible, the worst father in the world. I judged him so harshly. I forgot about him for a long time.
Brutal, man.
Now she's not anymore, but so she's doing well. All the kids are doing well, and can't get enough.
Oh boy,
Angie must be a badass, by the way, to hold that family together
somehow
through drugs and fucking moving and death and AIDS and everything else, and keep her kids on a path to where they all went to good colleges and fucking were successful in life. That's a bad fucking woman right there. Can't get enough. I found an Alan Wiggins, the brown, the throwback 1984 away Padres, $179.95 for that bad boy.
Wow.
The old number 2 Alan Wiggins jersey.
Is it real?
It's a majestic.
Was it his?
No, it's just a brand new.
For that kind of money?
The real throwbacks with the names, because they don't make a lot of Alan Wiggins jerseys, so
there's only 2 of them.
A few extra bucks there. Yeah, the one he's buried in probably,
right.
and then this one. And that is Alan Wiggins, everybody.
Wow,
what a fucking crazy, messed up story.
I didn't know that.
No, there's a lot of it there. It's
and
just
I'm heartbroken.
Drugs. But he did die of AIDS. But you know what he didn't die of?
What's that?
Coronavirus. So you know what? Good for him. We're keeping that good. So, like I said, nobody bit. That was a fun story until the last 15 minutes. Nobody fucking bitch, or else I will find the diddlingest son of a bitch ever next week. So let's not do that.
Here's a good way that he could have kept from getting AIDS is don't fucking succumb to heroin.
Don't shoot heroin.
Good Lord.
Don't shoot anything. No needles.
I'm sure it's happened, but I haven't heard of anybody who got AIDS from snorting coke.
Never. It'd be really hard. I don't know how you do that.
You'd have to snort Magic Johnson's AIDS blood through your coke.
You'd have to grind a man up and snort him.
You'd have to snort
but then it would be dry.
Out of Magic Johnson's bloody nose.
Maybe if you freebase it and use... Okay, I got it here. Maybe if you're going to... All right, this is good. Inject it. Oh, no, it's very complicated.
Oh, boy.
If you like that show, you know what you can do? I'll tell you what you can do. God damn it. You can get on Apple Podcast, that purple icon, and give us 5 stars. It helps for some reason. So I know you have time right now. You're sitting there. So fucking get on there. Right. Takes you 30 seconds to sign in. It took way more time to figure out all this shit about Alan Wiggins.
Sure of it.
So get on there and do that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports and small town murder needs. Everything is there. Merchandise and links to stuff, tickets to live shows.
Why does that make me laugh so
for later in the year? This makes me sad.
You know, 3 years ago, announcing we have a live show in December, saying that shit in like March, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I can't wait for these 9 months to go by.
Yeah, no,
this is like 3 months away and I'm dying.
I know. We're like, why do you want to get out of here?
I should have been to like 8 different live shows.
We should be exhausted from travel right now.
We should be getting ready to get on a plane this week.
Yeah, well, we would be just getting back from Cincinnati today.
We'd be going to Nashville in a couple of days.
We would have gotten off a plane from Cincinnati today.
Yeah.
That's what our lives would have been. And then rushed right here to record. Instead, we're sitting out here with our thumbs up our asses. So do that. Follow us on social media. Find all of that stuff there. If you want to be a hero of ours, a producer of ours, and also someone who can listen to the bonus episode this week for Crime and Sports and all of our Small Town Murder and all of our bonus episodes, they're all under one umbrella.
Yes.
You can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports or head over to PayPal. Use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, if you just want to make a one-time donation and be a nice person. But thank you guys for every damn thing you do on that score, because it's way above and beyond, man. So thank you so much. And
you'll never understand how grateful and thankful we are for you guys doing really work that otherwise would go unfulfilled. So thank you so much for taking care of everything for us.
The only way we can have to show you is to try to give you extra stuff.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to hustle. That's why we did the Stevie watch along. I know it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's just something that a few people might like.
It's just fun.
Thank you. It's a way to say thank you to people.
Spend our time doing that.
Absolutely, for 3 hours. I think we're gonna do Dope Sick Love next. By the way,
Dope Sick Love,
I think that would be great.
So many people are suggesting the wonderful.
Yeah, but that's already funny.
Yeah.
So I feel like
we're
not adding anything to that.
This shit is not funny.
That's what I mean. Stevie is not an inherently funny documentary. It's a very sad documentary.
Very few jokes delivered by Mike.
Yeah, but if you look at it the right way, it's hilarious, Stevie. It's the same thing with Dope Sick Love. Right. Not funny at all, but it's hilarious. Yeah. But it's the funniest thing. You're the best, Al. That's the saddest statement you've ever heard. Sebastian! But it's wonderful. The Whites are already fucking hilarious. They already made it. Johnny Knoxville made it. It's a comedy already. Same thing with Winnebago Man. People have asked for that.
That's a comedy too?
But it's meant for you to laugh at it.
Okay.
It's fucking funny. I mean, the guy's losing his mind, screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
Whatever. So check that out. Also, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie, where me and my wife, Sarah Hunt, tear apart romantic comedies. And like I said, if you want to hear me lose it, crazy rant style, Skip Bayless hatred style, that's the place to find it, because I'm angry as shit.
Maybe we do like Love After Lockup and do like a couple episodes and then see you next week while we finish this season.
Yeah.
And every week just keep doing it.
Yeah, that's
we can do a whole season of it.
Just keep doing it. Just keep saying, yeah.
That's exhausting.
We can do that.
We have to make that we have to be there for sure.
No, well, we'll end up talking about one of these bonuses. We'll talk about Love After Lockup and all these. We have our own stuff.
Yeah, we do.
We want to do here. So do all of that. Yeah. Check us out. And without further ado, I think, social media.
Yeah.
At Crime and Sports and on Twitter and Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram is our social media. Follow us there. Gave you the Patreon already. If you want to be one of these people, one of these heroic people, go ahead and do it. But I need to hear these people. Jimmie, jam it into my arm like a filthy, filthy needle.
This week's executive producers are Leanne Dice, Tonya Volanek, Christiane Castaldi checking back in, Paul Ramming, Clay Thorson, and his wife, who is an RN, and all of the front line.
Thank you, everyone. Like that.
You guys are fucking heroes. Thank you. Susanna Platt, Jim Healy, Renee Byrne, Joanne Ahern, Rice Probin, Ryan Sargent, Jerry Oliver. Yeah, Megan Newell. What is that? Eileen Hodnett. Yep. Nope. Thomas Ludwig.
There you go.
Andrea Papageorge, Jordan Bennett, John Buck, John Sordo, Christine Valdez, Carl Bittner, and then there's one more. I moved it right here. Khaki Surrett. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do for us. We're really just blown away by it. Other producers this week, strap in. This shit's going to be long. Ashley Papineau, Aku Sayix, I think. Goda De Lavinia? Nope. Rosie Goldstein, Dave Dispacoli, Pascal.
Hey.
Molly Broussard, and Donche. Damn it. Jenna Stoner. This is crazy. Ian Abrahams, Will Hart, Taylor Cody, Jim Healy, Joanne with no last name, Megan Hicks, Olivia Tatum. Nope. Allison Reed, Kyle Hendershot, Susan Borowski, Corey with no last name, Michelle Holmes, Margot Trout, Lester Herbert, Jessica Rothwell, Justin Green, Simon, Pam Putnam, Sean Wells, Patricia Alberts, Ryan Harold, Justin Stragliotti, Catherine Babcock, or Blaylock, Babcock. Badcock? I don't know. Tabor DeRoyne, Shireen Castle, Chris Ferrari, Ashley Angeline, Douglas Parton, Drew Waller, Michelle Gonzalez Macias, Wendy and Neil Lowe, April Curley, Patricia Young, Stephanie with no last name, Ted Arnold, Jesse Howe, Joe Merkel, Susie Goodman, Jenny Koski, Taylor with no last name, Hannah Johnson, John Stinn, Brian Heller, Dana Holly, Sydney Gillespie, Christine M, Mark Case, Ashley Cuthbertson, that's Williams. What is that? Renee Bird, Williams Reef. Oh, that's what that is. It's Williams Reef's Aquarium.
Okay.
That's what it is. Mal Satorian, Yazhoon, Lynn. I'm not Fucking cultured. Quincy Moe, Alyssa Kane, Dylan LaValle, Malia Martinez, Erica Taylor, Stephanie with no last name, Corey Owens, Nicole Munier, Ben Streeter, Ashley Curry, Chris McNuckle, Mike Mangano, damn it, I'm sorry, you got called Mangina, I know it. Kayla Lyons, Sierra Scott, Kyle Rudd, Andrea N, Tim Refner, Angela Magana, damn it, Chris Kalariti, no, Callart. Sorry. Amelia Delfos, Anthony Luciano. Oh, Anthony and Luciano Renaro. Thank you guys so much. Jennifer Ware, Heather Monday, Jason Swartz, Christian Lopez, and we're just getting started. You ready? Jennifer Stewart, Phoebe McHugh, sorry, Angela Dia, Rachie R, Kelly Brown, Barry with no last name, Devontae Burgess, Aaron Hopkins, Catherine Adams, Bailey Green, Timothy Smith, Christopher Davis, Dan with no last name, Harvey with no last name, Isabel Silverstein, Jade with no last name, Lee Blasfeber, no, I'm not going to try. God damn it. I gave my best. Crystal Kefalis, Patrick Sir, Heidi Hauser, Sebastian Kachiki, Melissa Jones, Tyler Vera, Sam G, Kyle Nelson, Zaylee, no, I don't know what that is, Vecherisics, I don't know what I did. Rayleigh? Fuck. Emily Hudson, Scott Tucker, Katie Felix, Mike with no last name, Jake Price, Tyler Fitzgerald, Claudia Parks, Che and Steph, Albert Lopez, Amina Zaidine, Rena Jackson, Max J, I think that's what that is. Heather Veltri Lafour, Crystal with no last name, Hannah Patricia, Elisa Cassandra Edaconics. Oh boy. That could, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Christina Ransom, Lisa Babbitt, Emma with no last name, Kevin with no last name, Catherine Grissett, Christina Krisnalik, Darcy Lenger, Emma Jolie Pettis, Nick Richardson, Alexa Page Crow, Courtney Broche, Joe Hallett, Cassie Avery Vowels, Rebecca Hessler, Tim Lloyd, Jim Lloyd, Connor Fairman, Caitlin with no last name, Valerie Fortner, Corey Brantley, Haley Hansen, Trill Bina, Dane Ford, Lisa Ruley, Jen Hill, David Lank, I think, Herman Piard, Cassie Peterson, Magilda Chunks, Rebecca Fawns, Nicole Meyer, I'm getting there. Liana Ratka, Megan Alexander, Amy Dawson, I said that. Melissa Bornett, Eric Brown, Paul Mampilli, Brendan Fournier, Shell Ashley 357, Emma with no last name, Tracy Peshek, Becky Grondhill, Rachel Mace, Sam Gordon, Lynn Shaw, Lena Kay, Matt Meyer, Ali Rash, Isabella Griffith, Nisa Kelly, Sarah Waddell.
You got this, Jimmy. Jump in and encourage you. You're doing well. You're doing great, Jimmy. Rock it.
Mary with no last name, Demetrius Jones, Angela Littleton, Emma with no last name, G. Trinder, Tara Shupsky, Fuck It Bucket, Megan Corley, that's Wigglebutts, Pampered Mutts, Kiana Lowe, I think, Catherine Howard, Courtney Couch, Christina Rotieri, Mike Strong, Clayton Whitman, Brangella Stang, Courtney with no last name, Karen Harris, Brooke Dover, sorry, Carl Bittner, Sarah Spurlock, Kim Cheadleberg, Hunter Thompson, that's his actual name, by the way.
That's really
Stephanie,
awesome.
Yeah, Stephanie Best, Carrie Kelly, hard to explain, Sam with no last name, Lori Stanek, Haley Dingle, Allison Davis, Ursula Graham, Olivia Borden, Sadia Abdi, Tracy Willis, Nicole Sargent, Jenna with no last name, Paul Gruber, Betsy Wilson, Charisma, Joe Dimeo, Sarah Blanche, Sean Delaney, Abraham Ingersoll, Valerie Youngkins, Kathy Collado, Steve Stevenson, Andy Vaughn, Emma Iman Egan, Channing Rankin, David Jackson, Scott Stevenson, Gary Knocker, Jay Estes, Rotiere, Luke Rotiere, John Strauns, Jade Robinson, Kelsey Bornstein, Kathy Rivera, Ben Seastack, Alex Aldape, AJ, Kathy Rivera, Robbie Luna, Carly Nielsen, Amanda Campbell, Peachy Dream, Matt Rowland. I said that in a question. Dev Laura, EJ Hausler. What? No. Nikki Taylor, Erica Popham, Dan Matz, April Growth, Olivia Ritter, Will Robinson, Mike Miller, Melissa with no last name, Francisco Mora, Nicola Marshall, Jessica Lewis, Margot Delaney, I said that, Candace Fitzpatrick, Jordan with no last name, Matt Rowland, Robbie Luna, Peachy Dream, Isabel Aguera, Nick with no last name, Sarah Linderman, Caitlin Weekly, and another page, Linda Duran Campbell, Taylor Jennings, Kelly Keys, Becca Mirfica, what? Stacy Stanley, Holly McCoyne.
You guys really wanted to hear us talk about the Tiger King.
Phil Bannister, Tiffany Gonzalez, Marissa with no last name, Renee with no last name, Amy B., Shelley Hansen, Tom C., Sean Ward, Harrison Albert, Catherine with no last name, Rach Niemeyer, I think, Ejad Cortez, probably not, Sue Saunders, Jenny Allen, Tony Francisco, Alyssa McMillan, Samara Vorner, Renee Kellogg, Stacy Greer, Cameron Smiley, Kay Peak, Jude McConkey, Amanda Geary, Sarah Lanier, Kelly Dunn, Molly Robinson, Zach with no last name, Kyle, and Antonio in Texas. Happy birthday, by the way. It's a little late. Birthday. I'm a piece of shit. I got you. Crystal, Mark Giovanni, William Wheat, Milan Petrucci, Jessica Roper, Gabriella with no last name, Brian Heading, Brendan Winkle, Joseph Hollows, Stacy Nielsen, Frank Sharon, Kayla Bingham Miranda with no last name, Kayla Burkhart probably, Carol Palmer, Sophie Myers, Charlie Burrs, Haley Lindbeck, P.A. Tironi, Amy Preston, Nathan Vicen, Jeff White, Christy Golightly, Jack Bertain, Rachel Morales, Doug Rushton, Ann King, Amanda Scott, Danielle Amory, Amanda Kruzak, Michael H. Zoe Brown, Rebecca Reed, Michelle with no last name, Joshua with no last name, Brittany Moore, Nasa Stanton, Tamara Hemsworth, Megan Taylor, Audie Griffith, Colette Davis, Kevin with no last name, Mackenzie Asprey, Keith Durbin, Kim Welter, God damn it, Oscar Poltrineri, Taylor Bean, Krista Barnes, DC Blues, Jennifer Justice Thompson, Mucho Macho, Julia Cunningham, Kyle Dunphy, Jen Baird, Jeff Ashton. We're getting into it. We're almost there. God damn it. Sheree Coppice, Lopez. I don't know what I did there. Kaylin McAdam, Jane Greaser, Ariel with no last name, Jared Markman, Jacob Cruz, Kat Zovidard, Braden with no last name, Nathan Dayhill, Carrie Bardo, Sam Sharkey, Michael Zusirli, Suzio, Paul Lino Lakes. What did I just fuck it up again? Lino Lakes. Eloise with no last name, John Targalinki, no, Daria Pecciali, that's not right, Petaccio, Brian Spink, Emily Joe, Kevin Mullally, John William Kern, Caitlin Asher, Carol Palmer, Amanda Dalton, Kaylee Bathalon, probably not, Alicia Parmenter, Katie Cock or Coach, sorry, Tessa Allen, Terry Bigham, Amber Lee, Amber Fields, Anya Richter, David Boudry, Bethany Lamke, Lisa Stiff, Terry Burks, Neil Annis, Neil Anus, maybe.
Hey.
Jessica Hensley, Chris Nelson, Brooke Foster, Grumpy Pederass. What? No.
Grumpy Pederass?
I don't think so.
Let's hope not.
Jessica Kushball, Kimber Vautour, Ivy Lopez, Brooke Foster, Jessica Kalick, Scott Hamburger. That can't be true. Small Town Cunt. That's for sure not true. Tina Witcher, Nicole Morer. Mac with no last name. Laura Weimer, Zach Dubois, Jordan Wallen, Eric Rankins, Megan Morell, Susan Renaud, Hunter Davis, Mary Levon, Eric Ballard, Angela Matthias, the Barticks, Heidi Hedrick, Phoebe Watkinson, Victoria Northcutt, Ash with no last name, Sean Columbus, Barb John Lay, Michelle Swayze, Michelle Sox. No, Fox, Holly Drury, Amy Willette, Morgan Reed Parker, Diane Davis, Elaine J, Lindsay Smith, Justin Blau, Stephanie with no last name, Maya Carson, Steven Steen, Alan Casaletto, Michaela Rich, Teresa Schoenherk, Stephanie is Georgia Brooks, Orson Chandler, Michelle Armstrong, Stephanie Van Ness, Mindy Pierce, Elisa Perazzo, Christy Lee. We are almost done. Aaron Conrad, Jana G, Bo Hibbert, Brooke Bruce, Shannon Brown, Ashley Poole, Brett Loves Retta, John Holder, Moira Smith, Katie Cook, Sarah Butler, Brett Niedzwick, Niedzwicki, Olivia Janelle, Kanye Twitty, probably not, Nicholas Hornig, I fucking pray, Lily with no last name, Joe Pivernick, Megan Gary, Thomas Smith, Brian Bostard, Madeline Horowitz, Gwen Van Veen, Colleen with no last name, Kelly Higby, Ashley Vio, Cindy Weber, Lynn Gross, Robin Bullock, Valerie Lavoie, Gina Excel, James Martyr, Donna with no last name, Rachel Benson, God damn it, Jeff Bowman, Tara Miller, Marissa Cook, Matt Vladmirot, nope, Kim Kelman, Laura Reese, Esther Rose, Deborah Ober, Western Falk. What the fuck? That's not true. I'm sure it's different. I'm sure I fucked it up. Julia Duncan, Peyton Meadows, Barbara Binns, Lisa Geese, Laura Murr. Welcome back, Laura.
Hey,
missed
Laura.
you. Can't wait to see you again. Megan Seymour, Robert Sukach, Michelle Terry Photos, Photography, Emily Bajowski, Georgiana Porter, Nicole Judd, Josh Cherry, Anthony, it's Tony, Tom, and Colin Pinatelli, I think. They all listen together. Thanks, guys. It's a guy, his dad, and his son.
Awesome.
Melissa Silsby, Charles Jordan, Charlie Jordan, Megan M., Beth Urban, Paul Gruber, Amanda Knight, Brittany Lepowski, Sarah K. Chai, Danielle Pennington, Trip Ratcliffe, Katie McCord, Gregory Burr, Zach Brown, probably not the band, Melissa Katoski, Katuzak, Stephanie Huron, Bagels, I don't know last name, it's probably somebody's dog, Celeste Pettyjohn, Janice Hill, Taryn Porter, Billy Johnson, Joey Edwards, Sarah Harrison, Lucy Stacy, Amy Lovins, Deb War, Basilton Nearing, Lindsay Rotary, Chrissy Bomengo, Boyle, Gary Howard, thanks Gary, Penny Keir, Gina Kuhn, Jennifer Krajicic, nope, Nick Strickland, Dead Guru, Jason Davis, Linda Lee Friend, Alex Browning, Ryan Pearsad, is Jackie Sukap, Dylan Hopper, Natalie Breedbach, Cassandra Mascree, Rudolph Flores, Jason McMahon, Haley McGivern, Tony Francisco, Jude Kendall, Jude Passmore, no, it's Kendall Passmore, Ricky Sykora, Jeff Conover, David Decant, Steven, Lawrence, Graciela Martinez, and all of our goddamn Patreon supporters. You guys are real heroes.
Thank you, everybody, so much for all that you do for us. Honestly, we're just so appreciative. So thank you.
It's amazing.
Thank you. That's all we can say about that, for everything you do. And what if they wanted to thank you or yell at you or anything like that, Jimmie?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks. Clog my inbox.
Clog his hole, everybody.
Yeah, clog my hole. Clog the
Clog
inbox.
my in-hole.
With all kinds of negative thoughts. I appreciate it.
Do
Where
that.
can they find you?
If you want to get a hold of me at all for whatever reason, you can find me at Jimmie P is Funny, or just copy and paste my name from the show description and make it easier on yourself and all that shit. Without that said, everybody, have a good one. Stay alive.
Yeah,
that's
wash
number
your
one.
hands.
Wash your shit. Stay inside and do all that crap. Oh, boy.
Sterilize, you filthy
You
fucks.
filthy bastards. And until next week, everybody. Oh, no, that's still... I did it again, damn it. I keep thinking I'm there.
I love that so much.
Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.